Chapter 119. Fong Ping did not chat with Fu Chanding for long. He quickly exited room 15. As soon as he came out, he saw a few girls in the hallway. Fong Ping was not used to it. Girls live here too. Fortunately, everyone had a single room, and the bathroom was indoors. Otherwise, he would be too embarrassed to go out. However, this also meant that the martial arts university students had less of an experience. There were no roommates and no topless girls running around the floors in their underwear. There were not many girls living in Zone 1, and even fewer on the second floor. Fong Ping was familiar with the girls walking toward him. Zhao Xuemei, Yang Xiaoman, and Chen Yunxi. These three were currently the strongest girls among the new students in MCMAU. Zhao Xuemei smiled and greeted Fong Ping when she saw him. Yang Xiaoman gave him a cold shoulder, and Chen Yunxi carefully avoided Fong Ping. Seeing the fear on her face, it was obvious that she knew about what happened in the martial arts society. Fong Ping nodded slightly. He did not say anything and went straight to his room. As soon as he entered the room, another person appeared in the hallway. Zhao Lei glanced at Fong Ping's back and frowned. Fong Ping is quite arrogant. He didn't even help the girls carry their luggage. The girls had just returned from home, and they were still carrying their luggage and parcels. As Zhao Lei said that he took the initiative to take the bags from Chen Yunxi and Yang Xiaoman. He smiled. Next time, you can call me if you need anything. He then said to Yang Xiaoman, "We're the same instructor. Don't be so distant." Yang Xiaoman pouted and said nothing, but Zhao Xuemei said impatiently, "Aren't you going to help me carry it?" Zhao Lei was a little embarrassed. He laughed dryly. "It's full." He was carrying a bag in one hand, and both his hands were full. It was obvious that he could not carry it anymore. As he said that, he did not forget to remind her, "Fong Ping and you are the same instructor. This guy is so heartless." Among them, his and Yang Xiaoman's instructor was Tang Feng. Zhao Xuemei and Fong Ping's were Lu Fengru's, and Chen Yunxi's was Bai Ruoxi's. Zhao Xuemei rolled her eyes and ignored him. They were all martial artists. No matter how heavy their luggage was, it was nothing much. Zhao Xuemei was used to this. When she went out with Yang Xiaoman and Chen Yunxi, the boys fawned over Yang Xiaoman and Chen Yunxi. Zhao Xuemei was a competent supporting character. However, when Zhao Lei mentioned Fong Ping, Zhao Xuemei knew that he did not like Fong Ping. It was mainly because he had been beaten up during the school allocation. Zhao Lei was making sarcastic remarks now because he had the confidence to do so. He had honed 40 bones before the holidays. Now that a few days had passed, he might have honed 41 bones. Compared to Fong Ping, who had kept a low profile since the start of the semester, Zhao Lei had always been indignant that Fong Ping had stolen the title of Newcomer King. Even if Fong Ping kept a low profile in the later stages of his career, and Zhao Lei was still extremely outstanding, no one would call him the Newcomer King. After all, he was only a teenager of 18 or 19 years of age. No matter how shrewd he was, Zhao Lei was still unhappy that he was being suppressed by someone else. Zhao Xuemei wanted to use what Fong Ping had done to hurt him, but after some thought, she decided not to say anything. She didn't say anything, but Yang Xiaoman smiled and said, "Zhao Lei, have you heard about the special training class?" "I heard about it." Zhao Lei nodded hurriedly and asked, "Is MCMAU starting the special training class?" "It should be. Before I came to school, I called the instructor and asked about it briefly. The instructor said that it should be starting soon. Recently, the school has been discussing the selection criteria. The special training class will definitely pick out the best students. Naturally, you won't have a problem. Fong Ping will probably go in too. Zhao Lei, can you wash away the humiliation you suffered at the start of the semester? This is a chance." Zhao Lei's eyes moved, but he smiled and said, "What humiliation? It's just the start of the semester. Everyone is fighting for the instructor and the school. It's normal to have disputes." Yang Xiaoman smiled and said casually, "Since the special training class only selects the best students, there must be a difference between the best and the worst. I heard that the credits you get are different as well, so you still have to fight for it." As they spoke, they arrived in front of Yang Xiaoman's room. Yang Xiaoman took the bag from Zhao Lei's hands and said with a smile, "Zhao Lei, we're here." "Thank you. You can go and do what you need to do." Zhao Lei did not mention that he was going into the room. He smiled and nodded. All right, I'll go back first. Call me if you need anything. Okay. As soon as Zhao Lei left and they entered the room, Zhao Xuemei frowned and said, Xiaoman, why did you provoke Zhao Lei? Yang Xiaoman said disapprovingly, did I provoke him? Even if I don't say anything, Zhao Lei will still go to Fangping when the special training class starts. He's not stupid. He won't cause trouble for Fangping just because of what I said. Ignore them. Let the boys fight amongst themselves. I've been pissed off by them for a long time. Zhao Xuemei muttered, anyway, you better not provoke Fangping. Really, I still haven't forgotten what happened last time. He looks like a gentleman. When we trained together, he doesn't talk much, but I think he's a nice guy. Who knew? Who knew he'd be so cruel in the arena? Anyway, I don't dare provoke him. You better not ask for it either. Chen Yinchi nodded quickly and said softly, Xiaoman, let's not bother with him. It's been so long. He just hit my chest, it's nothing. Yang Xiaoman gritted her teeth. It's easy for you to say that. That bastard, he caught me and hit me more than once. He kicked me once and punched me 3 or 4 times. It's all swollen. It hurts for a few days, and it's still swollen. Zhao Xuemei pouted. Isn't it good that it's swollen? It looks bigger now. Go to hell. Yang Xiaoman was exasperated. Was such a big thing what she wanted? That day, she and Zhao Lei were the main force in pestering Fangping. In the end, Fangping, that lowlife, specialized in all kinds of embarrassing places. She was so angry that she could not smile for a few days. Women were vengeful. Fangping obviously did not take her words seriously. In MCMAU, Fangping kept a low profile as usual. After a day of rest on the 5th, MCMU officially started classes on the 6th. On this day, Instructor Tang Feng, who came to class to give a lecture, announced a piece of news. MCMU is going to open a special training class for new students. The selection criteria is that all new martial artists can sign up. The special training class will recruit 50 people. The special training class will be taught by me, Instructor Luo Yichuan, Instructor Lu Fengru, Instructor Su Jianzhou, and Instructor Zhou Shiping. The dean will come over from time to time and may give lessons. Those who enter the special training class will be rewarded with 10 credits. Those who perform well during the special training class will be rewarded with other rewards. As soon as Tang Feng announced the end of the class became noisy. This class was a joint big class for a few small classes. There were many students and almost all the martial artists were here. 10 credits was not a lot. The key was not the credits. There were 5 rank 6 instructors teaching. The dean, who was a grandmaster level powerhouse, might also come to teach from time to time. For these rank 1 martial artists, even rank 6 martial artists would not have the opportunity to receive guidance, let alone grandmasters. There were only 5 rank 6 instructors in MCMAU's first year, and they taught about 20 students. Compared to the new student team of almost 1,600 people, most people did not have the chance to interact with these rank 6 powerhouses. As soon as Tang Feng finished speaking, someone asked, Instructor Tang, do they have to be martial artists? Twice honed is fine too. Instructor Tang, what is the purpose of the special training class? Not everyone had a source of information. Many people did not know the purpose of the special training class. Tang Feng chuckled. To nurture the new students' combat ability and bring glory to the school. At the end of this year, all the martial arts schools in the country will hold a championship. As you know, there have been such exchanges in the past, but the scope is very small. For example, Magic City's martial arts universities might hold a small-scale championship. It's rare for them to cross provinces, let alone the whole country. MCMAU is the top institution among all martial arts universities. We must participate in this national championship, and we must achieve good results. Even if it's Capital City Martial Arts University, we must beat them. This is the school's order. The national championship? Do we have to fight with Capital City Martial Arts University students? I heard that those fellows from the north are very fierce. Will we get hurt if we fight them? Everyone discussed. They only had eyes for Capital City Martial Arts University. They did not take the national championship seriously. They did not care about the other normal martial arts universities. Since ancient times, there had been no first place in literature and no second place in martial arts. In social sciences universities, it was hard to say who was first and who was second. However, in martial arts universities, sometimes it was more obvious. It was not that MCMU and Capital City Martial Arts University had not sparred before. They had in the past, but MCMU lost more than they won. Although they were both famous universities in many people's eyes, Capital City Martial Arts University was still better than Magic City Martial Arts University. Although there was no official ranking of martial arts universities, in the eyes of many people, including the internet, there was still a ranking of martial arts universities. CCMU was first, MCMU second. Fong Ping, who had been silent all this while, suddenly asked, "Instructor Tang, do we have to participate in the championship after entering the special training class?" Tang Fong glanced at him and smiled. "Not really. There are a total of 50 people in the special training class. In the end, there won't be that many people participating. The exact number hasn't been decided yet, but it's usually limited to 10 people. So, you're saying that even if we participate in the special training class, we might not participate in the championship?" "That's right." Fong Ping did not have any more questions. He continued to remain silent. Since they did not have to participate in the championship, they had to enter. 10 credits was not a small amount. It could be exchanged for a rank 1 vitality pill. After he asked the question, Zhao Lei also said loudly, "Instructor, there are 50 people to be selected. There are more than 100 martial artists in our batch. How are we going to select them?" Tang Fong smiled. "It depends on vitality, bone honing progress, and combat techniques progress. Not actual combat. Not for now. But when we enter the special training class, we'll have the chance." The early stage was just a selection. MCMU was not in a hurry. A group of students who had not gone through training had limited combat ability. When Zhao Lei heard this, he felt slightly regretful. He glanced at Fong Ping from the corner of his eyes. Fu Chanding, who was sitting beside Fong Ping, said in a low voice, "This guy has his eyes on you." Fong Ping did not care. He said lightly, "Don't mind him. There's no point in fighting because of personal feelings. Only when there are benefits. If there are no benefits, I won't bother." If there were benefits in the special training class, Fong Ping would definitely participate. If there were no benefits, he would definitely not participate. If there were benefits, then whether he would participate in the championship depended on whether the benefits were enough and whether it was worth it. If it was worth the risk, then he would go, even if Fong Ping was afraid of death. If the benefits were not enough, then he would pretend to be dead. The school could not force anyone to participate. Otherwise, if they admitted defeat on stage, MCMU would lose all its face. Fong Ping could actually guess that there would be many benefits in the championship. He would think about it later. Once he entered the special training class, he could advance or retreat at will. After Tang Fong announced the end of the registration began. Almost everyone, including martial artists and twice-honed ones, signed up. After counting, there were more than 140 people in the end. When he first entered the school, there were only about 60 martial artists. Now, that number had doubled. Martial arts universities were very efficient. After the registration, the school arranged for the selection the next day. Fong Ping was not worried. He was sure that he would enter. Most students did not know about the Martial Arts Society's competition, but the school definitely knew. After all, 2 students had lost their lives. Fong Ping was not weak. There was no reason that he could not enter the 50-person selection. At night in the training hall, Lu Fengru clasped her hands behind her back and said lightly, "Have you registered for the special training class?" "Yes, I have," Fong Ping and Zhao Xuemei responded. "Originally, I thought that it would be a contest of strength between the schools and wrangling between grandmasters. I didn't expect that it would be decided by the new students." Lu Fengru was also very clear about the cause and effect of this matter. After some thought, she said, "There are only 3 months left until the end of the semester. 3 months is not a long time, but it is not short either." The Martial Arts University Alliance clearly knew the strength of the Big Two, but they still dared to hold the championship. Many of the new students do not take these normal martial arts universities seriously. Their standards are too low. Martial arts universities, even normal martial arts universities, usually have a grandmaster in charge. The school's resources are also not something that an individual can compare to, let alone a family. With so many normal martial arts universities, 10 martial arts universities producing one genius is already quite a lot. In 3 months, it is very difficult to enter rank 2, but it is not too difficult to enter rank 1. Everyone is rank 1. At that time, it will be a competition of personal foundation, vitality, strength, progress of bone honing, pole standing, combat techniques, and actual combat experience. Don't underestimate these martial arts universities' geniuses. Otherwise, the consequences will be unpredictable. Also, don't be fooled by the martial arts universities of the second level, as if everything has nothing to do with them, since they are participating, and as one of the 4 forces at that, it means that they have their own ideas. Fong Ping mumbled, "Instructor, we might not be participating in the championship at the end." Lu Fengru snorted disdainfully. "You are not the only one who thinks this way. Since you have entered the special training class, do you think you can choose not to participate in the end? Of course, the school will not force you. However, when the benefits are out and you are brainwashed, they will make you feel a sense of collective honor, and they will talk about being famous. How many people can really hold back? When the time comes, they will all fight to participate." Fong Ping could not help but laugh when he heard the words brainwash coming from Lu Fengru's mouth. However, it was not surprising after thinking about it. Lu Fengru did not say much. After a brief explanation, she looked at Fong Ping and said, "You have improved very quickly. I heard that you have been short of money recently and have spent all your credits. Have you considered accepting missions?" Fong Ping was not really short of money, and he did not lack wealth either. However, he still nodded and said, "I want to see what missions are available first. I will decide according to the situation." "Sure. Follow me." Chapter 120. The Logistics Department. Lu Fengru brought Fong Ping to the Logistics Department, which surprised Fong Ping a little. They did not go to the exchange office on the first floor, but went straight to the 3rd floor. Even though the sky was dark, the Logistics Department was still brightly lit. Martial artists cultivated regardless of day or night. The 1st floor is for collecting credits and exchanging pills. The 2nd floor is for determining ranks. The 3rd floor is where martial arts universities accept missions. Lu Fengru said as she walked, "Of course, not everyone can come here. Aspiring martial artists can't enter. Rank 1 martial artists can't enter without an instructor's recommendation." When they reached the 3rd floor, there was a place that looked like a reception desk at the entrance. Someone was guarding it. Hearing the voice, the martial artist looked up. When he saw that it was Lu Fengru, he quickly greeted, "Hello, Instructor Lu." Lu Fengru did not say much. She led Fong Ping and Zhao Xuemei inside. It was slightly different from what Fong Ping had imagined. There was no big blackboard filled with missions like he had imagined. Instead, it was filled with intelligent machines that were more than a meter tall. Lu Fengru walked to a random machine and looked at Fong Ping. "Where's your martial arts license?" Fong Ping quickly took out his martial arts license. Lu Fengru placed it on the machine and said as she operated, "This requires authorization. I'll grant you authorization to accept missions now. Without an instructor, it's useless even if you come in. You can't enter the mission system." As she spoke, Lu Fengru had already granted Fong Ping authorization. 4-page entrances appeared on the webpage. Military Department missions, Department of Investigation Services missions, police missions, school missions. Military Department missions and Department of Investigation Services missions are usually more difficult. Of course, you're only rank 1. The missions you see now are limited, but they're still very difficult. The Military Department and Department of Investigation Services have many powerhouses. They might not be able to do certain things due to lack of manpower or other reasons, so they entrust them to martial arts universities. Military Department missions don't give a lot of rewards, but they sometimes give special resources or Military Department points. These points have many uses. They can be used as a condition for future promotions in the Military Department. They can also be exchanged for special resources in the Military Department. Department of Investigation Services missions are relatively more rewarding, but they're not easy. Sometimes, There are points that can be used to prepare for entering the Department of Investigation Services in the future. The task at the police station is much simpler, but don't be careless. Lu Fengru reminded her. The police station's missions mostly involve ordinary people. However, they were all bandits and most of them had guns. Although these bandits aren't martial artists, they're all extremely vicious people. If you rank one martial artist encounter them, it wouldn't be surprising if you're shot to death with a gun if you're not careful. The police usually pay with money, unlike the military and the Department of Investigation Services, which usually pay with pills or other items. As for the last one, the school mission, Lu Fengru smiled and said, there are difficult and easy school missions. It was very, very simple. For example, if a student issued a spar mission and the student was about to make a breakthrough in his combat technique and wanted to find someone to spar with, there would usually be no danger at this time, so the student could accept it. There were also teachers who would issue some missions, such as running errands for him or delivering some things to his hometown. These were all possible. It was a very simple mission. Of course, the rewards were not great. There were also difficult ones. For example, students needed to form teams to complete missions, and teachers needed strong students to help them. In short, you'll know when you get back. You can take a look and choose whether to accept the mission or not. However, you're still a new student. Even if you do accept it, it'll be easier and shorter. You guys still have too much to learn. Don't learn from the seniors at this time. They'll be gone for a few months or even half a year. In the end, Lu Fengru said, the logistics department is prepared for rank 1 and 2 students. When you reach rank 3, you'll go to another place to accept missions. Also, you can access the mission system from the school's official website. Just enter your student ID and password. The main purpose here is to bring newcomers to broaden their horizons. When it's time to settle the mission, they'll come here. As for myself, sometimes I'll ask students to help me with some missions. Of course, you don't have to do it now. You're too weak, so there aren't any missions that require your help at the moment. Fong Ping nodded quickly. Zhao Xuemei said carefully, Instructor, then you. Lu Fengru smiled faintly. It's fine as long as you know the process. It's not time yet. Oh! Zhao Xuemei was a little disappointed. Fong Ping smiled and said, It's okay. When I accept the mission, I could bring you along. Shut up. Lu Fengru, who had been calm earlier, suddenly scolded. Nonsense. If you're not strong enough, why would you accept a mission? Do you want to die? If you want to die, don't drag others down with you. Also, all the missions are confidential. Don't tell anyone what mission you've accepted. Don't talk about trouble. Understand? Unless you're teaming up with someone else to complete the mission, you'll have to rely on yourself. The mission system will only give you a rough idea before you accept it. It won't reveal any specific information. Only after you've accepted the mission will you be given detailed information. Oh, right. If you fail the mission or give up, the corresponding credits will be deducted according to the reward quota. Don't accept missions recklessly. Fong Ping nodded quickly and admitted his mistake. I was wrong. I won't do missions recklessly with others. It's good that you know. As Lu Fengru said that, she looked at Zhao Xuemei and said, You should practice puncture kick first and hone more than 50 bones before we talk about this. Don't be envious of others. There's no need for that. This isn't something to be happy about anyway. Got it. Let's go. Fong Ping can look around here or go back. Lu Fengru did not care about him. She left right after she finished speaking, although Zhao Xuemei wanted to stay for a while. Seeing that Lu Fengru had left, she could only say, Fong Ping, I'll leave first. Okay. Watching the two of them leave, Fong Ping was a little excited. He first opened the police station's mission system. Capture and kill an A-rank wanted criminal. A 3-man criminal gang with firearms. No martial artists. High level of danger. Location near Magic City. Suggestion. Rank 2 or peak rank 1 martial artist. Reward. 300,000 in cash. Assist the police in apprehending a drug dealer. Suspected to have firearms. Medium level of danger. Suggestion. Peak rank 1 martial artist and above. Reward. 100,000 in cash. Capture a robber. An aspiring martial artist. No firearms. Hiding in a Kunshan area. Equipped with anti-reconnaissance abilities. Low level of danger. Suggestion. Rank 1 martial artist. Reward 50,000 in cash. Fong Ping scanned through the list. There were many missions. Some were not dangerous at all. Of course, the rewards were ordinary. Fong Ping even saw a mission to search for people and objects. This made him speechless. Of course, there was no need to mention the rewards. There were thousands to tens of thousands of yuan. It was not that no one accepted them. Some martial artists were not strong and happened to be idle. They helped to search for people. After a while, he saw that most of the missions were for aspiring martial artists. There were almost no missions for martial artists. The police station was originally meant to serve ordinary people. Fong Ping opened the Department of Investigation Services mission system. The missions here were more difficult. Capture a peak rank 1 martial artist with a murder case. Cultivating palm techniques. Location: Huangping City. Suggestion: peak rank 1 martial artist or rank 2 martial artist with a successful combat technique. Reward: 200,000 in cash. Kill a rank 2 martial artist with a murder case. Cultivating saber techniques. Location: South Peace City. Suggestion: peak rank 2 martial artist. Reward: rank 1 vitality pill or 10 credits. Kill a peak rank 2 martial artist. Completed honing of limbs. Armed with firearms. Proficient in leg techniques and fist techniques. Location: fleeing from Magic City. Suggestion: peak rank 2 martial artist or rank 3 martial artist. Successful combat technique. Has actual combat experience. Has similar mission experience. Reward: 500,000 in cash or 20 credits. The rewards for MCMU's missions were quite generous. A peak rank 1 martial artist could get a reward of 200,000. A peak rank 2 martial artist could get 20 credits. Moreover, there were many missions to choose from. Not many people fought for them. Nanjiang Martial Arts University rarely had these missions. If there were, they would have been snatched up by others. After that, Fong Ping looked at the military department's missions. They were similar to the Department of Investigation Services, except that some of the military department's missions were in the wilderness, far from Magic City. The rewards were also varied. There was cash, pills, credits, alloy weapons, and even points from the military department or the Department of Investigation Services. Fong Ping looked at the school missions for a while and was speechless. There were actually people looking for girlfriends. I'm looking for a girlfriend. She's gentle and beautiful. Deadline: 10 days. Note: pure friendship between a man and a woman. Excessive intimacy is rejected. Reward: 5 credits. Not only were there girlfriends looking for girlfriends, but there were also boyfriends. The key was that the person taking the mission was also a man. Of course, aside from these unreliable missions, there were also some useful ones. For example, there were students who were practicing combat techniques. They needed a student who was practicing the same combat techniques as them to be their sparring partner. The reward was also credits. Fong Ping skimmed through the list and suddenly found an interesting mission. Challenge NMEU's Wang Jinyang. Wang Jinyang, peak rank 3, possibly already rank 4. President of NMEU's Martial Arts Society. Battle record: defeated 14 peak rank 3 martial artists in capital city. Note: no deaths recorded in combat, but serious injuries. Reward: 200 credits for defeating the opponent. If the opponent is not defeated, but injured, 50 to 150 credits depending on the severity of the injury. 500 credits for killing the opponent. Old Wang has enemies all over the world. Fong Ping sighed, especially when there was a reward of 500 credits for killing the opponent. This was not a low price. It was almost equivalent to 15 million in cash. Of course, there were not many people who would accept this mission, or rather none. If they really reach peak rank 3 or even rank 4, these people might not be short of 500 credits. Besides, it was not that simple. Fong Ping could actually see this mission here. It was obviously a little special. Fong Ping could not usually see rank 3 and 4 missions. Lu Yongwen or someone else? Fong Ping guessed, but he shook his head after some thought. There was no way to guess. It might not be Lu Yongwen. the guy might not have the guts. Moreover, 500 credits was not a small amount. Liu Yongwen might not be able to fork it out. Not all high-ranked martial artists were rich. The higher the rank, the higher the expenditure. In fact, some people were so poor that they were even poorer than Fang Ping. If they could fork out 500 credits, it meant that their family background was not weak. Fortunately, this mission was a challenge and not an assassination. Fang Ping guessed that martial arts universities would not allow these missions to be issued. Challenges were legitimate and above board, but assassinations were different. They would go from being a legitimate force to being a shady force. Perhaps Old Wang himself knew about this mission, but he probably did not take it to heart. Fang Ping watched for a while and suddenly thought, if I ask Old Wang to put on an act with me and admit defeat, wouldn't I be getting 200 credits for nothing? After some thought, the possibility of Old Wang agreeing to it was not high. Even if everyone knew it was an act, it would be embarrassing for a rank to lose to a rank 1. But that might not be the case. Old Wang is a practical person. If I give him half of the credits, there might still be hope. Fang Ping made a mental note of this mission. He decided to ask when he had the chance. 200 credits was not a small amount. Fang Ping stayed on the 3rd floor of the logistics department for almost 2 hours. In the end, Fang Ping did not accept any missions. He would wait and see. He was not short of money at the moment, and his strength had not reached the point where he needed to train. Accepting missions now would not be a good time to waste. When his strength reached a bottleneck, or when he was short of money, he could take on some easier missions to complete. Fang Ping was thinking about something else when he left. I didn't see the evil sect missions. Or maybe they didn't specify that some assassination missions are related to evil sects. Old Wang and the others said that rank 3 is dangerous. It should be related to the missions. I can't see those missions yet, so that should be it. As he thought about it, he thought about the special training class. If the special training class recruited people, how should they train them? Fang Ping suppressed these thoughts and returned to his dormitory to continue honing his bones. He had honed 28 bones now. There were only 3 bones in his right lower limb that he had not honed. They were the femur, thigh bone, patella, kneecap, and fibula, calf bone. Of these 3 bones, the femur was huge, and the patella was more complicated. They were all the more difficult to hone. Fang Ping's honing speed had slowed down. It was not as fast as the phalanges, which were easily honed 1 a day. Fang Ping estimated that it would take him at least 10 days to hone these 3 bones. I'll try to finish honing 1 limb as soon as possible. There are only 3 months left until the end of the semester. There are still 34 bones in my lower limb. I'll need at least 2 months. 2 months to complete bone honing and achieve peak rank 1 was Fang Ping's prediction. If he was lucky, he might achieve rank 2 by the end of the semester. Of course, that was if he was lucky. Fang Ping might not be able to achieve it. It was not a good thing to break through too quickly. His combat techniques and pole standing cultivation required a lot of time and vitality. He had to improve both at the same time. As for the company, I have to transfer money to Li Qingzi to continue expanding. I can feel the expenditure increasing now. I'll have to pay it back later. Without money, my progress will be very slow. But the company has invested a lot. What if Li Qingzi runs away? Fang Ping was not stingy with his evil thoughts. He had little money now. Li Qingzi could still suppress some thoughts of investing 1 or 2 million. However, when it reached 10 million and Fang Ping was not in the company, he might not be able to suppress it. I'll have to find someone to keep each other in check. Sigh, it's not that easy to do anything. After sighing, Fang Ping cleared his mind and continued cultivating. Chapter 121. The next day, the building of practical training. As soon as Fang Ping arrived, he felt an endless wave of malice. Many students saw him and could not help but recall the scene from a month ago when they were beaten black and blue. Zhao Lei's expression was ugly. When he saw Fang Ping, he humphed and said in a low voice, "Fang Ping, I'll get back at you for what happened last time." "What?" Fang Ping suddenly said loudly. "Zhao Lei, we're all men. Don't be so petty. Look, even girls like Yang Xiaoman don't care about it, but you do. Didn't I admit defeat? Isn't that enough? Do you want to beat me up?" Zhao Lei was so angry he almost vomited blood. I said it softly. Why are you yelling? Yang Xiaoman was so angry she wanted to vomit blood too. Did I not care? I was too embarrassed to say it. Of course, she was also a little afraid of Fang Ping and did not dare to pick a fight. Zhao Lei left awkwardly. Fu Changding laughed. Didn't you say you didn't care about it? Why did you provoke him again? To fight for benefits, Fang Ping said with a smile. I met my instructor outside the door just now. I heard that the special training class will choose a class monitor. Of course, there are benefits. We can get more credits. When it's time to fight, we still have to fight. We'll beat him up later anyway, so we'll give him some time to prepare. Cough, cough, cough. Fu Changding coughed for a while, speechless. Are you serious? Of course. Fang Ping rolled his eyes and said with a grin, I won't participate if there are no benefits, but if there are, I'll have to think about it carefully. Don't fight with me, or else you'll get a beating too. Fu Changding curled his lips, but did not say anything. He did not know about Fang Ping's situation before, but after returning to school for 2 days, Fu Changding was well informed. He knew what had happened before the holidays. Although he had more honed bones than Fang Ping, if they were to fight, he would not be Fang Ping's match. Fang Ping wanted to be the class monitor, and he had no intention of fighting for it. As the crowd chatted, Tang Feng and a few rank 6 instructors arrived. Tang Feng was straightforward as well. The moment he arrived, he said, Twice-honed martial artists who have achieved lesser mastery in pole standing, combat techniques, and have honed more than 20 bones, step forward now. As soon as he finished speaking, many people stepped forward. Fang Ping moved with the crowd and stood out. Not bad, 41 people. These 41 people will directly enter the special training class. After saying that, Tang Feng did not give everyone time to discuss. He continued, Students from the School of Tactics and Strategy who have honed 15 bones can step forward. This time, the commotion was not big. Soon, 2 boys stood up. 43. Those from the School of Production who can repair weapons step forward. There were not many martial artists in the School of Production to begin with. It was divided into many faculties such as pill manufacturing, weapon manufacturing, and cultivation technique research. There were even fewer people who knew how to repair weapons and had reached the level of a martial artist in such a short period of time. In the crowd, a small man stood out and said in a low voice, Teacher, I only know how to repair some E-grade alloy weapons. Yes, I'm fine. Tang Feng did not mind. He continued, Faculty of Social Sciences, Intelligence Analysis course. Students who were evaluated as excellent last month, step forward. This time, there were still very few people and only one person stepped out. Tang Feng sighed and said, Pretty girls, step forward. Cough, cough, cough. Many people started coughing. Teacher, do you have to do this? Everyone could understand what had happened earlier. Although the special training class was for the sake of participating in the championship, it still required students to be the brains. Students from the School of Tactics could do the job. Cultivating weapons, intelligence gathering, and analysis were understandable. But what the hell was a pretty girl? Did old Tang think it was too monotonous and purposely gave everyone some benefits? Tang Feng said lightly, I'm trying out a new teaching method. Let's see if you guys won't attack just because your opponents are pretty girls. As soon as he said that, some of the girls' expressions changed. Trying what? Trying to get them to stand in the arena and get beaten up? Among Fang Ping's group, Yang Xiaoman muttered, Do I have to be treated like this too? She was quite confident. Fang Ping and the others did not say anything. No one knew if Tang Feng's method would work. In the end, 2 female students from the School of Social Sciences were recruited by Tang Feng. Fu Changding, on the other hand, was happy. He chuckled and said, Not bad, Teacher Tang's method is quite good. Right now, he did not think too much about it. Tang Feng did not say much either. Did everyone think he was joking? What a joke! He was a peak rank 6 martial artist. He did not have the time to joke with these new students. He was serious. The 2 girls were targets for everyone else. Of course, since the 2 girls had signed up, it meant that they wanted to enter the special training class. Now that Tang Feng had opened the back door for them, no one could blame him for pulling them in. We're still missing 3. Tang Feng looked at the remaining students and thought for a while. Is there anyone with a specialty? Of course, those who can run fast or sing. Don't say anything. The specialty I'm referring to is something that can be of use in the championship. In the crowd, someone hesitated and raised his hand. Teacher, I can memorize maps. Is that a specialty? It's just those complicated maps. I can memorize them in a few minutes. I'm very sensitive to directions and geography. Tang Feng's eyes brightened. He nodded. Yes, you. Teacher, I can manage logistics. No. Teacher, I can provide psychological guidance. If the students are injured, I can comfort them. No. Tang Feng rejected many people. Now, there were only 2 left. In the end, Tang Feng chose 2 students with decent vitality and bone honing. He did not choose the students with special talents. Now, there were 50 people. Teacher Tang is quite casual. Is the selection over already? Fu Chanding complained. He had thought that it would be complicated. Now he realized that it was over just like that. Fong Ping smiled. Efficiency is the priority. Moreover, there are 50 people. We still have to select them at the end. There's no need to waste too much time. If the selection of a special training class lasted for 10 days to half a month, then special training was out of the question. There were only 3 months left until the end of the semester. There was no time to waste. After Tang Feng was done with his selection, he quickly sent the others away, regardless of whether they were willing or not. After the others had left, Tang Feng said directly, the time for the special training class is very tight. In the past few years, MCMAU has not opened special training classes like this because there's no need. The school's purpose is to train people together, not to train them individually. Now, however, we have no choice. That's why we don't have much experience to follow in the special training class. Teachers like us are the same as you. We're all blindly trying. Of course, it's not that difficult. The goal is to win the championship. Then, we just have to follow that goal. In the end, it's still about ability, experience, and ability. There are many ways to improve ability. Honing more bones, increasing vitality, improving combat techniques, improving pole standing, all of these require resources. That's why the special training class will provide more resources for everyone. However, these things aren't for free. You have to earn them yourself. The 10 credits that you'll get when you enter the class will be considered a gift. From now on, it's all up to you. The better your performance, the more benefits you'll get. Right now, there are 50 people in the special training class. Teachers like us don't have much time to waste on small matters, such as gathering and notification during training. According to the usual practice, we'll choose a class monitor and let him handle these matters. Of course, you won't be working for free. 10 credits? Only 10? Fong Ping muttered in the crowd. He felt that it was too stingy. Was it worth it to waste time on something like this for 10 credits? As if she had seen Fong Ping's expression or heard what he said, Lu Fengru, who had been silent all this while, suddenly said, some people might find it troublesome to get free credits. You can just let someone else do it. It's so simple. There are 50 people in the class. You'll be the class monitor. If you beat up one person and make him run errands for you, you'll naturally get free credits. Instructor Lu. Tang Feng was a little displeased. Lu Fengru said lightly, the new students don't even feel any pressure. How can this be considered special training? Think about it. If someone is forced to work for free, would he be willing to do so? If he's unwilling, he'll naturally have a motivation to get back at them. With motivation and the desire to improve, special training is the real special training. It's decided. I think it's pretty good. The students were stunned. They could do that? Fong Ping was stunned too. Lu Fengru's method was not bad. Although Tang Feng and the other instructors did not quite agree with it, they did not say anything in the end. In martial arts universities, if you wanted something, you had to fight for it yourself. Although it was not good to exploit others, as Lu Fengru said, the new students nowadays lack motivation. Perhaps this was a solution. There was not much time left until the championship. They had to use all the methods they could think of. Getting free credits if you don't work, Fong Ping muttered. Lu Fengru suddenly said, of course, as everyone's strength improves, the class monitor can also be rotated. Let's rotate once every half a month. Every time, there'll be a reward of 10 credits. This way, everyone will have more motivation. This time, no one objected anymore. The students' eyes lit up. Once every half a month? There were still 3 months until the championship. That would be 6 times and 60 credits. 60 credits was not a small number. Fong Ping could not help but glance at Lu Fengru. The instructor was fighting for benefits for him, right? She was obviously giving him benefits in secret. Tang Feng and the others had obviously thought of this as well. They looked at Lu Fengru with some dissatisfaction. Lu Fengru yawned and said, "Why are you looking at me? Isn't it good to motivate everyone to improve? Ask the students if they're willing to do this." Although no one said anything, Tang Feng could see that his own students, Zhao Lei and Yang Xiaoman, were tempted. The other students with decent strength were also eager to try. Although Lu Fengru's method was a little rough, it had to be said that the students' enthusiasm was ignited. Tang Feng felt a little helpless. He knew about Fong Ping's situation. Forget it. If Fong Ping could occupy the position of class monitor for 6 periods, the others would probably be motivated too. It was not a bad idea to set up an opponent for the new students. It was only 60 credits anyway. Tang Feng thought for a while and said, "Then we'll go according to Instructor Lu's suggestion. Does anyone have any objections?" Even if the students had objections, they could not say it out loud. If they said it, it would mean that they were not confident in themselves. Seeing that Tang Feng had agreed, Lu Fengru smiled at Fong Ping with an expression that said, "Kid, I've fought for you." Fong Ping laughed dryly and did not say anything. "If there are no objections, then we can start now. Those who are willing can participate in the election." Just as Tang Feng finished speaking, Lu Fengru suddenly said, "Don't waste so much time. I still have things to do." Fong Ping, step forward. Fong Ping stepped forward quickly. Lu Fengru said directly, "Do you want to be the class monitor?" "Yes." This time, Fong Ping did not hesitate. 60 credits. In the mission system yesterday, even capturing and killing a peak rank 2 did not have this treatment. A peak rank 2 was only 20 credits. 60 credits was almost the same as a rank 3. It was the least. Killing a rank 3 martial artist only earned him so many credits. Now that it was free, how could Fong Ping not be willing? "It's good that you want to," Lu Fengru said playfully. "Instructor Tang's 2 students have outstanding abilities. Everyone can see that. We're all rank 6 instructors. I want my reputation too. You're my student. Some people are afraid that I don't know how to teach students, so I have to prove that my salary as an instructor is not for nothing. Go and challenge Instructor Tang's 2 students. If you win, you'll be the class monitor. If you lose, you'll have to serve them for free. Do you have any objections?" Lu Fengru was fighting for benefits for him. Fong Ping did not want to embarrass his instructor, so he quickly said, "No objections." "Does anyone else have any objections?" Lu Fengru asked. No one said anything. Zhao Lei and Yang Xiaoman's abilities were among the best among the new students. If they could beat them, no one else would be a match for them. "Zhao Lei, Yang Xiaoman, what about you guys?" Zhao Lei said immediately, "No objections." Yang Xiaoman hesitated for a moment and shook her head. "Then let's begin. Which one of you will go first?" Zhao Lei said impatiently, "I'll go first." Fong Ping did not waste any time. He stood out from the crowd and said with a smile, "Zhao Lei, let's make this clear. Don't cry later and don't hold a grudge. Also, if you lose, you'll be working for me for free. You'll be in charge of informing everyone to gather for class." Zhao Lei huffed. "Sure, if you lose, it'll be the same." "Of course," Fong Ping responded. Then, without waiting for anyone to give the order, he suddenly took a step forward and rushed forward. Zhao Lei had not recovered from the conversation just now when Fong Ping's fist smashed toward him. He was about to retaliate when Fong Ping suddenly pulled back his fist. The pullback of his fist was extremely abrupt. Zhao Lei did not expect Fong Ping to attack first, nor did he expect him to feint at this time. Just as he was about to dodge, Fong Ping kicked his knee. Zhao Lei staggered and almost fell. Fong Ping suddenly punched him again, this time hitting his nose. Ugh! Zhao Lei's nose bled, and tears flowed down his face. I told you not to cry, and you're still crying. Fong Ping punched him in the forehead with a bang. As he punched, he said in a relaxed tone, I told you not to hold a grudge, and you just had to. Bang. I'm actually very easy to talk to, but did you think I didn't hear what you said to Yang Xiaoman and the others? Bang. You're always provoking me. What's so great about honing your bones compared to me? Bang. If you provoke me again, I'll beat you until even your father can't recognize you. Bang. My sister is already the boss. I'm just a boss among the freshmen. Do you still have a problem with that? Bang. Before the crowd could react, Fong Ping had already pinned Zhao Lei to the ground. He punched him again and again until Zhao Lei's head was spinning, and he had no idea where he was. The corner of Tang Feng's mouth twitched, but he did not say anything. Fong Ping did not hit him too hard. It looked like he hit him hard, but it was just a superficial wound. Could he not keep hitting his face, though? Zhao Lei would not be able to see anyone for a week with that face. In the crowd, Chun Yunxi looked at Yang Xiaoman's pale face and said softly, Forget it. Just admit defeat. Zhao Lei is a guy. If he does the same to you later, Yang Xiaoman's face turned even paler. She could not imagine how she would survive the next 4 years if Fong Ping beat her until her face looked like a pig's. After a while, Fong Ping stood up, satisfied. He chuckled. Yang Xiaoman, it's our turn. You want to hit me? Of course. Didn't you hear Instructor Tang say that hitting a beauty is also a form of training? Instructor Tang, am I right? Tang Feng's face darkened. Lu Fengru was all smiles. I admit defeat. Yang Xiaoman's face was full of embarrassment, but she did not dare to accept the challenge. Fong Ping said regretfully, What a pity. Forget it. Don't hold a grudge next time. I'm afraid of trouble. It's not good to hold a grudge. I've never held a grudge. He had heard this woman speak ill of him behind his back a couple of times. Zhao Lei too. Did she really think he would not hold a grudge? Chapter 122. The class monitor selection ended almost instantly without any hiccups. When Fong Ping beat up Zhao Lei, who had the most honed bones in the class and thought he was the strongest, none of the other 48 students had any objections. Zhao Lei, who was lying on the ground, was still pretending to be dead. He had to pretend. He could not afford to lose face. He was beaten black and blue by Fong Ping before he could even retaliate. Even if Fong Ping had ambushed him, it still represented Fong Ping's strength. Many people had realized that Zhao Lei was pretending to be unconscious. However, Zhao Lei was not weak. His instructor, Tang Feng, was still here, so they were too embarrassed to laugh at him. Fong Ping did not mind that Tang Feng was there. He even used Tang Feng's words to mock him. He was not too happy with Tang Feng. This instructor had tricked him once during the school allocation. He only reminded him of the high casualty rate when he chose Lu Fengru. Of course, Fong Ping now knew that Lu Fengru's students were digging their own graves. It had nothing to do with Lu Fengru. However, Fong Ping was broad-minded. He did not mind taking revenge in a harmless situation. After all, Tang Feng was the one who allowed the sparring. Fong Ping did not do anything to Zhao Lei. Of course, the main thing was that his instructor did not like Tang Feng, so he deliberately chose his students. With Lu Fengru's support, Fong Ping was very bold. Tang Feng was not so petty. He glanced at Fong Ping and did not even look at Zhao Lei. He quickly said, Fong Ping will be the class monitor. Does anyone else have any objections? No one said anything. All right, the class monitor is decided. Later, Zhao Lei will come to me for the training schedule. Fong Ping had already said that he would let Zhao Lei run the errands. Tang Feng had no intention of reneging on his student's debt. He was not strong enough, so it was good to provoke his student. He could see that Zhao Lei was a little arrogant. He was not big-minded, but he was not small either. He did not like Fong Ping, but he did not deliberately pick a fight with him. This showed that he had some self-restraint. After this lesson, he would probably be much better next time. Sometimes, the students might not listen to the instructor's words. However, after being beaten up by Fong Ping and losing face in front of everyone, it was time for him to learn his lesson. Of course, if he didn't change, it meant that his temperament wasn't good, and Tang Feng wouldn't pay too much attention to him. Ignoring Zhao Lei's response, Tang Feng continued, the training will begin tomorrow. It won't affect everyone's regular classes. It will mainly be at night and on weekends. As for the specific arrangements, we will discuss them tomorrow. For now, everyone is dismissed. Everyone dispersed in twos and threes, but there were quite a few people who didn't leave. They wanted to see how Zhao Lei was going to continue pretending. In the end, Zhao Lei stopped pretending. After Tang Feng announced that they were dismissed, he got up, wiping away the tears and blood on his face. Zhao Lei lifted his head to look at Fang Ping. He gritted his teeth and said, I admit defeat this time, but we'll see. University has only just begun. Fang Ping curled his lips and said nonchalantly, as long as your old man doesn't challenge me to a duel, I'll wait for you anytime. Don't provoke me. My father isn't that shameless. Zhao Lei snorted. This snort was troublesome. My nose still hurts. After he finished humming, Zhao Lei's face twitched and his tears flowed down once again. You're crying again. I feel like I'm bullying a child. Fang Ping sighed and strode away. He did not continue to provoke this guy. He said he was not provoking him, but Zhao Lei was provoked to the point of going crazy. Who was crying? If you don't have asterisk king hit my nose, will I cry? Outside the building of practical training, Fu Chanding laughed until his stomach hurt. He held Fang Ping up and said, You're really ruthless. I see that his face is even more swollen than mine. He won't recover in a week. I'm trying to avoid bigger trouble. Fang Ping said helplessly, This guy always thinks that he lost the last time because he was careless. That's why he remembers it. This time, I'll let him experience despair. He won't feel so indignant anymore. What he said was not false. For a person like Zhao Lei, you had to beat him into submission. Zhao Lei was obviously not convinced by what happened last time. He was indignant and had resentment in his heart. Small things could become big things. Now that Fang Ping had beaten him into silence again, it could actually resolve a lot of trouble. As he said that, Fang Ping turned his head to look behind him and suddenly said loudly, After entering the special training class, there will definitely be many opportunities to learn from each other. If there's a grudge, I'll take revenge. 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 It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. I'll beat them up first, bastard. Yang Xiaoman, who was behind him, cursed. Why did he have to mention names? Did he have to scold the locust intentionally? Chun Yunxi hurriedly tugged at her. There would definitely be combat classes after entering the special training class. Don't provoke that guy, or you'll really get beaten up. Yang Xiaoman was reluctant. She mumbled and did not say anything else. Fu Chanding gave Fang Ping a thumbs up and said softly, Not bad. You're good at this. Make her hate turn to love? I'll try it next time. Women are all like that. Maybe it really will work. Get lost. Fang Ping cursed. You really know how to make connections. After chatting with Fu Chanding for a while, Fang Ping saw Lu Fengru slow down in front of him. He quickly caught up to her. Thank you, instructor. Fang Ping hurriedly thanked her as soon as he stepped forward. The 60 credits this time were almost free. This was also because Lu Fengru had given him special treatment. Otherwise, Tang Feng would not have arranged it this way. Don't thank me. You earn it yourself. Lu Fengru did not take credit. She said as she walked, the more resources you have, the faster you improve, and maybe the faster you die. So there's no need to thank me. After saying that, Lu Fengru continued, but take advantage of this opportunity to get more resources and credits. Then, use them to exchange for the pills you need to improve your strength. Fang Ping looked puzzled. Lu Fengru did not say that before. What she meant was that her students did not need to rush. Lu Fengru said lightly, MCMU will probably lose the championship. If they lose, resources will be tight. When that happens, it'll be hard to improve your strength. MCMU will lose? Fang Ping still found it hard to believe. The special training class had just been established, and they were already thinking about losing? I just found out about it not long ago. There have been some changes recently, which is the main reason why normal martial arts universities are so eager to fight for resources. Changes? Yes, you'll know about this soon. In short, everyone is eager to improve their strength now. The Martial Arts University Alliance has made up their mind to fight for more resources. Once the students enter rank 1, they may be arranged to carry out missions, life and death missions, and not just for the sake of training. On one hand, it's to win the competition and get resources. On the other hand, it's to deal with crises. I don't know if you know about Tiannan Martial Arts University's heavy losses. Now, the situation has worsened. Similar things are happening in many places. So, everyone is striving to improve their strength as soon as possible. In the past, it was the weak who could enjoy life. Next, there may be some changes, and the weak have no right to waste resources. Only by concentrating on cultivating a group of powerhouses can we better deal with crises. That's why I said that you can fight for more resources now. Of course, if you're not interested in the martial arts path, then pretend I didn't say anything. You can graduate as a rank 2 or 3, and maybe you can live a stable and wealthy life. Lu Fengru said a few words, shook her head, and said, "These are troubled times. It's been so many years. In the past, only rank 3 martial artists would participate. Maybe it will spread to rank 2, or even rank 1. In recent years, it has become more and more frequent." He did not know if she was talking to Fong Ping or herself. Anyway, Fong Ping only understood half of it, but he could feel the tension. After walking for a while, Lu Fengru finally waved her hand and said, "You can go back first. I'll let you know if there's anything. After all, you're my student." "Okay, instructor. I'll leave first." "Go." After Fong Ping left, Lu Fengru sighed softly. Ordinary martial arts universities had made trouble in the past, but they did not cause much of a commotion. This time it was especially big, and they had an attitude that they would not let go. Before this, Lu Fengru did not care about it, and she could not be bothered to care about it. Now, however, Lu Fengru knew that things were more troublesome than she had imagined. Ever since the earthquake in Tiannan, there were signs of unusual movements at the catacombs entrances everywhere. This could be a sign that big trouble was coming. The martial arts universities guarding the catacombs could not sit still anymore. They began to seek large amounts of resources to increase their strength and deal with the crisis. That was why the championship was held. In Magic City, it was not obvious before, but during this period, it was becoming more obvious. During this period, a few of her students outside had been seriously injured. One of them almost lost his life. Lu Fengru only found out about the changes from the students. Wang Jinyang, Qin Fengqing, and the others said that they wanted to earn a big sum of money because of this. Lu Fengru did not know whether this was a sign or something else, but she still felt a sense of crisis. This time, when she told Fong Ping about this, she felt very complicated. It was fine for ordinary students, especially new students. However, for an outstanding student like Fong Ping, it was very likely that he would be informed about the catacombs in advance and be forcibly recruited to participate. Usually, the missions were random, and the principle was voluntary. However, at this critical moment, how could it be voluntary? You had to go whether you wanted to or not. This was the responsibility of a powerhouse. Of course, it was not just Fong Ping. Fong Ping was actually still a pawn. She might have to leave the school too. The days of enjoyment had been too long, and she had almost forgotten about these things. However, the school provided them with a large amount of resources until they reached rank 5 and 6. At this time, it was impossible not to step forward, even if they were grandmasters. Middle-rank martial artists were a little nervous these days. As for low-rank martial artists, other than some rank 3 martial artists who were on missions, the others still knew nothing. Although Lu Fengru mentioned a few things to Fong Ping because Fong Ping lacked a source of information, he also did not know much. However, he knew one thing, and that was that he had to quickly improve his strength. When Fong Ping returned to the dormitory, he had already put aside the pleasure of beating someone up earlier and continued to hone his bones. It was just a child's play earlier. Zhao Lei was just a new student. Other than the slightly higher number of bones he had honed, everything else was very ordinary. Bullying this kind of person did not give him a sense of accomplishment. He did not wait until the next day to attend the special training class. That night, When Fong Ping was cultivating, he felt that the ground was shaking. Fortunately, this feeling passed very quickly. Many people probably did not know about it. However, as the ground shook, some of the MCMAU martial artists started to get nervous. That night, the higher-ups of MCMAU held a meeting. On the night that the meeting ended, the dean of the School of Weaponry, Huang Jing, led a team and left the school that very night. Accompanying him were more than 30 middle-ranked instructors. The next day, Fong Ping and the others acted as usual, not noticing anything out of the ordinary. Only a few people were talking about what happened last night. Fu Channing also felt the movement last night. He was not asleep at that time. When he met Fong Ping in the morning, Fu Channing asked, "There was an earthquake last night? You felt it too?" "Yes. I was cultivating and almost lost my breath. Fortunately, it was only for a while. It might have been a small earthquake." As the two of them were chatting, Zhao Shumei walked over and said, "It was an earthquake, but it was very light. The news reported it this morning. There were no casualties or economic losses. Recently, it's not just Magic City. Many places have been like this. There have been frequent earthquakes this year." Fu Changding said casually, then frowned and said, "It doesn't seem like a good thing. After the earthquake in Tian'an last time, earthquakes started happening continuously. I remember that my grandfather was very nervous last time." Zhao Xuemei's expression changed slightly. She said softly, "Maybe. Don't think too much about it. Right now, our priority is to improve our strength." "That's true. Once we become grandmasters, we won't be affected even if the earthquake is strong." Fu Changding laughed and did not mention this again. They did not mention it, but Fong Ping took it to heart. The earthquake in Tian'an. Many of Tian'an Martial Arts University's elite students were sacrificed. Yesterday, the instructor said that there have been some changes recently. There have been frequent earthquakes recently. Although they didn't cause much damage, this doesn't seem right. This didn't happen in my past life. Every time the earthquake happens, Grandmaster powerhouses are unusually active. They frequently appear in the earthquake zone. Grandmasters are so warm-hearted. The instructor's words are contradictory. First, he told us not to rush to improve our strength and enjoy it for a few years. Now, he's telling us to fight for resources and improve our strength as soon as possible. Messages after messages flashed in Fong Ping's mind. After a long time, they formed a new message. The earthquake is related to martial artists. Maybe the earthquake represents danger. Fong Ping frowned. What did the earthquake in Magic City mean? Was Magic City in danger? Also, the last time Wang Jinyang and Qin Fengqing said they were going on a mission, but they were nowhere to be seen. Was it related to this? He could not get through to their phones. They were not in the service area. I don't have the necessary information. Is it because of my strength? Fong Ping exhaled softly. There was no point in thinking too much. It seemed like he had to improve his strength as soon as possible. Don't be stingy with your wealth. You should spend it when it's time. I have to expand the company as soon as possible. I have to spend even 9 million to earn wealth as soon as possible. Maybe I can try to take on some missions. Thoughts flashed through Fong Ping's mind, but his feet did not stop. He walked toward the teaching block with everyone else. Chapter 123. The school was peaceful, as usual. Some instructors applying for leave did not cause any commotion. It was normal for instructors to be busy, and many of them would go on missions. Although Fong Ping felt that something was off, he did not say anything about it. On this day, the freshmen discussed Fong Ping more than anything else. In the School of Weaponry Class 1, there were discussions since the morning. Even Zhao Lei was no match for him. Is Fong Ping really that strong? Has he reached peak rank 1? No way. How can he be so fast? Didn't he just start school, and he hasn't become a martial artist yet? The students first guessed Fong Ping's strength, but when the girls joined the discussion, the mood changed very quickly. That's so cruel. Zhao Lei was beaten into a pig's head. I've always treated him like a Prince Charming. Now I have no more love for him. That's right. Is Fong Ping feeling inferior? Last time, Fu Changding was beaten into a pig's head too. These two are strong and handsome in the class. Fong Ping has strength, but he's not as handsome as them. Do you guys think it can't be? He wasn't the one who beat Fu Changding up? Are you stupid? Don't forget that the two of them teamed up, but Fu Changding was beaten into a pig's head. He didn't. Fong Ping definitely has the strength to save Fu Changding, but he didn't. What do you think? That seems to be true. I didn't expect it to be like this. I think Fong Ping looks okay too. It can't be that bad, right? You're too naive. That depends on who he's compared to. Zhao Lei and the others are much more handsome than him. He's strong. He must be jealous. The few girls in the class were all discussing, looking at Fong Ping strangely. Yang Xiaoman was listening at the side. Just as she was about to speak, she thought of something and said in a low voice, "He's so petty. He's not just jealous of men. He's jealous of women too. Also, he's so cruel, hitting women. You guys saw it too. He's hitting women since school started. He even wanted to hit me yesterday. So, don't find a boyfriend like this who's petty and violent. Although he's strong, martial arts universities are much stronger than him. There's no need to find him. Did you all hear that? Also, don't tell anyone that I said it. Be careful. Otherwise, he might hit us because of his inferiority complex." "No way. Xiaoman, is he really going to hit you?" "It's absolutely true. Keep your voices down. His ears are quite sharp. In short, let this guy stay single for 4 years. In the future, when there are junior sisters, we have to greet them, lest they fall into the devil's den." The mood changed again and again. In the end, the girls all came to a consensus. Never pursue Fong Ping, never fall in love with him. There were many good men, and the seniors in MCMEU were also very strong. Fong Ping showed signs of domestic violence. The stronger one was, the more dangerous it would be to be his girlfriend. He might be jealous that you were prettier than him and want to beat you up. Fong Ping did not know about these things in the beginning. His ears weren't that sharp, and it was impossible for him to always care about what other people were gossiping about. He could feel that everyone was looking at him differently. At first, Fong Ping thought that the news of him killing someone had spread. It was not until after dinner that Fong Ping realized something when they went to the special training class together. After dinner, Fong Ping and Fu Changding went to the special training class together. Fu Changding suddenly said with a conflicted expression, "Fong Ping, why didn't you save me on the first day of school?" Fong Ping was surprised. It had been more than a month. This guy couldn't be that petty, could he? These days, Fong Ping felt comfortable interacting with Fu Changding. After some thought, he explained, "I wasn't a martial artist then, so I couldn't save you even if I wanted to." "Really?" "Of course." Then do you think that I might be a little more handsome than you?" Fong Ping rolled his eyes and ignored him. Fu Changding said dryly, "Zhao Lei, is he a little more handsome than you? Are you looking for trouble? Or are you showing off? You want to beat me up?" Fu Changding looked horrified, as if he had confirmed something. He said hesitantly, "Fong Ping, you don't have to do this. Being handsome is given to us by our parents. It has nothing to do with us." The swelling on my face just subsided not long ago. Obviously, this guy thought that Fong Ping might really have a special case in this area. He wanted to beat up anyone who was more handsome than he was, especially those who were handsome and strong. Obviously he, Fu Changding, was one of them. "Get lost," Fong Ping scolded. After a few more questions, he found out about the rumors among the girls. "They say that you're jealous of handsome guys, and maybe pretty girls too. Whenever you meet a handsome guy or a pretty girl, you want to slap them in the face. Someone even reminded me to stay away from you, or else I might get beaten up." Actually, I think so too," Fu Changding said dryly. "Fong Ping, don't you realize that you have this tendency? Look at you. You're not very friendly to people like Zhao Lei. Also, you're the same to Yang Xiaoman and the others, but you're very friendly to Zhao Xuemei. Do you really have a habit of judging people by their looks?" I heard you on the phone last time. You even told your sister to eat more, so that she doesn't become so skinny. Don't tell me you have a problem with your aesthetics." Fong Ping's face was as black as iron. Without a word, he strode away, muttering fiercely, "Yang Xiaoman." Fu Changding looked as if he had expected it. He sighed softly and said, "Maybe it's not jealousy, but there's a problem with my aesthetics." He did not like pretty girls or handsome guys. Maybe in Fong Ping's eyes, these people were unbearably ugly. The reason why he did not beat him up but got close to him instead, maybe Fong Ping thought he was ugly and needed a foil like him. When he thought about it that way, many things made sense. Fu Chanding's words made Fong Ping sulk for a while, but after some thought, he felt that there was no need to be angry. Soon, Fong Ping let go of the matter. At most, he would beat up Fu Chanding and Yang Xiaoman when he had the chance next time. That would be his revenge. Building 6. The special training classes had begun. The school had specially allocated Building 6 for the special training classes. Although there were only 50 people in each class, the school was very generous. They had directly moved some of the classes that were originally in Building 6 to the building. In the next few months, Building 6 would be used exclusively for the special training classes. Building 6 was the largest classroom. When Fong Ping and the others arrived, an instructor was already waiting in the classroom. It was not Tang Feng, nor was it the other rank 6 instructors. It was Bai Ruoshi, whom Fong Ping had a better impression of. She was a peak rank 5 powerhouse. She was much younger than Lu Fengru. When school started, many boys wanted to be her students. Unfortunately, Bai Ruoshi only accepted girls. Chun Yinshi was one of her students. When Tang Feng said that a rank 6 instructor would be teaching, no one expected Bai Ruoshi to come for the first class. Bai Ruoshi looked like she was in her 30s, but her actual age was a few years older. Because of her swordsmanship, she had an ethereal aura. She looked gentle and weak, which made her very popular among the students. Seeing Bai Ruoshi, Fu Chanding said excitedly, "I can't believe it's the goddess teaching. I thought I wouldn't have the chance. Maybe I can ask her about swordsmanship. It's the way of the bitch, isn't it?" Fong Ping was speechless. Was there a need for that? She was already in her 30s. Maybe she was already married and had children. Wouldn't it scare you to death if a son older than you popped up out of nowhere? Fu Chanding ignored him. The other boys were also in high spirits. Bai Ruoshi had a gentle smile on her face. When all the students had arrived, she said softly, "Today is the first day of the special training classes. I will be teaching everyone." The special training classes not only have martial arts classes, but also professional knowledge classes. Instructor Tang and the others are a little busy, so I will be teaching the professional knowledge classes from now on. There are professional knowledge classes in the special training classes. At this moment, many people started to complain. They were already busy enough. There were enough cultural studies and professional knowledge classes in the day. Attending the special training classes at night was to improve their martial arts skills, was it not? Now, they were going to have professional knowledge classes. Was it not killing them? Bai Ruoshi chuckled. The professional knowledge classes in the special training classes are different. You don't have to take notes or take exams. Just treat it as relaxing. But before the class, there's one more thing. As she said that, Bai Ruoshi picked up a stack of documents from the podium. This is the confidentiality agreement and the letter of responsibility. Everything you learn and hear in the special training classes will be kept confidential and must not be leaked. The letter of responsibility is what we usually call a life or death contract. Once you enter the special training classes, there may be some dangerous training content. There may be serious injuries or even death. You will have to bear the consequences yourself. Of course, you can choose not to sign it. If you don't, you can just leave the special training classes. A life or death contract? No one cared about the confidentiality agreement, but the letter of responsibility made many people's expressions change. Bai Ruoshi's voice was ethereal, her tone gentle. This is not a decision made by MCMAU alone. You are new students, so you are given the chance to choose. If you are a senior, you don't need to be reminded. I think some of you should know that every year, many martial arts university students die during training or during training. They won't sign the letter of responsibility because it is a basic requirement. Now you can choose to sign it or not. If you don't sign it, you can leave. Among the crowd, some were hesitant, some were nervous, but in the end, no one left. They would get 10 credits if they joined the class. If they left, would they not have to return them? If they did not want the benefits, how could they stand out? After the confidentiality agreement and the letter of responsibility were handed out, everyone signed their names. Fong Ping looked at them carefully. The content was not different from what Bai Ruoshi had said, so he signed his name too. After all the students had signed their names, Bai Ruoshi smiled. Very good. MCMU students should have this quality. Now let the first class of the special training class begin. With that, Bai Ruoshi returned to the podium and said, everyone has taken history lessons. Does anyone remember the year when the existence of martial artists was officially revealed to the public? 1921. Someone replied immediately. Before 1921, martial artists were only spread by word of mouth. Many people thought it was nonsense. In January that year, the Sino nation's provisional government sent a telegram to the public and published newspapers to officially acknowledge the existence of martial artists. They also collected martial arts cultivation methods from the public and recruited martial arts powerhouses. In the same year, the provisional government decided to officially establish Capital City Martial Arts Society, which is the predecessor of Capital City Martial Arts University. Capital City Martial Arts Society, as the first martial arts university in Sino Nation that was officially recognized by the country, recruited students from all over the country. That year, Capital City Martial Arts Society recruited 181 students. The student who replied knew history like the back of his hand. He could even recite some specific numbers. Bai Ruoshi was satisfied. She nodded and said, this student is right. It was 1921 when martial artists officially moved from behind the scenes to the front. Martial artists have a long history, but in the past, they were taught by masters and apprentices. They were divided into sects, gangs, and martial arts schools. They were all small scale. 1 teacher and 3 to 5 students. That was a sect. When Capital City Martial Arts Society was established, this small-scale model of inheritance was gradually eliminated. Now, martial arts universities have been formed. Currently, there are 18 professional martial arts universities in Sino Nation and 81 universities with martial arts departments. There are 99 martial arts universities in total. Bai Ruoshi continued, Capital City Martial Arts University is the earliest martial arts university in the country. It has a history of 87 years. MCMU's history is slightly shorter. It was established in 1949 and has been around for 59 years. Capital City Martial Arts Society was established in 1921. Martial artists walked to the front of the stage, but in reality, it originated from an incident in 1920. I think many of you don't know what the incident was, do you? Everyone was confused. They knew the history of 1921, but did anything major happen in 1920? Everyone was confused, but Fong Ping thought for a while. After a while, Fong Ping said uncertainly, in 1920, natural disasters occurred everywhere. There were droughts, floods, and frequent earthquakes. In December, the earthquake with the highest intensity ever recorded in Sino Nation happened. It caused hundreds of thousands of casualties. Bai Ruoshi glanced at him and nodded slightly. That's right. That's the reason. That's why the Northwest earthquake ended in December. In January the following year, the interim government released information about martial artists to the public and began to cultivate martial artists on a large scale. That's how the Capital City Martial Arts Society came into being. Fong Ping's pupils contracted. He felt like he was about to come into contact with something deeper. Bai Ruoshi continued, the establishment and expansion of other martial arts universities are actually related to natural disasters and disasters. There were more and more martial arts universities. The number of students they recruited increased from 181 to 1,800. Now, 20 to 30,000 students are recruited every year. There are close to 100,000 martial arts university students in the country who are still in school. There are even more martial science students who graduate. Based on 50 years of calculation, although there weren't as many as 20 to 30,000 students every year, there are still tens of thousands of students every year. After so many years, excluding birth, old age, sickness, and death, martial arts universities have cultivated more than 600,000 martial artists. These are martial arts universities. The military department is cultivating martial artists. The Department of Investigation Services is cultivating martial artists, and the martial arts training classes are cultivating martial artists. There should be more than 2 million martial artists in the country right now. In reality, the number of martial artists is far less than that. Of course, even if it's a small number, 1 million martial artists is not too few. Once there are too many, it becomes worthless. Why do martial artists still have this status? Has anyone considered this? Is it because martial artists are stronger? Of course, this is part of the reason, but it's not just because of this. Has anyone thought deeply about the inside story? Also, why did the government publicize information about martial artists in 1921, including the scope of the promotion of martial artists? Heroes use martial arts to break the law. This is not a modern saying. It has been passed down since ancient times. According to the people in power, these martial artists should gradually disappear into history. In reality, before 1921, the existence of martial artists had already been weakened to the limit. At that time, the number of martial artists in the country probably did not exceed 10,000. In another few decades, if the government did not take any measures, and with the advancement of modernization, martial artists would also disappear, not completely. Until now, I'm afraid that the number of martial arts powerhouses who still retain their heritage will not exceed 1,000, or even fewer. It's not impossible for them to be completely wiped out. Then why did they publicize it, promote it, and gradually raise the status of martial artists in the future? Chapter 124. In the Classroom. By Ruwashi continued, originally, you will only be informed of certain situations when you reach rank 3. Why rank 3? Because rank 3 martial artists have fully honed their limbs. They can fight and retreat at will. They have strong survival skills and possess the most basic ability to kill enemies. Rank 1 and 2 martial artists have more flaws in comparison. Some hone their upper limbs, some hone their lower limbs. In short, there is a big gap between them and rank 3. They are not comprehensive. This was an annotation that only rank 3 were elites. However, you are all elites among the new students. It is only a matter of time before you reach rank 3. That is why I can inform you in advance. Existence has its value. The existence of martial artists, promotion, privileges, all of these are based on the need for martial artists. Ruwashi's smile was gone. She said lightly, "It is not the people in power who need us. To put it more bluntly, it is society that needs us. To put it more bluntly, humans need us. That is why there are martial arts universities and all kinds of privileges for martial artists." The classroom suddenly fell silent. The students were not stupid. They could feel the tense atmosphere. Catacombs. I don't know if anyone has heard of this term. Of course, even if someone has heard of it, their understanding is limited. In order for you guys to grow healthily and without too much pressure, even if there are elders in your family who know about it, they will not reveal it. Pressure is for those who are capable to bear it. Those who are incapable will have it easier. This is my opinion. As for what others think, I don't know. Everyone has their own thoughts. Nobody knows what the catacombs are. How it came to be, nobody knows. Maybe some people know, at least not me. I only found out about the existence of the catacombs after I reached rank 3. What does the catacombs have to do with martial artists? This is what I want to say. After that, the entire classroom was extremely quiet. Only Ruwashi's voice could be heard. Ruwashi did not say much, but it was all focused on one point, the catacombs. Ruwashi really did not know what the catacombs were. What she knew was that the catacombs were located underground. It was like an underground world. However, it was also different. It was as if it was not underground at all. The government had organized people to dig tens of thousands of meters, but there was no trace of the catacombs. However, it was not an alternate dimension either. That was because if there were any unusual movements in the catacombs, there would be a reaction on the surface of the earth. The most direct observation would be an earthquake. According to modern science, it might involve higher dimensions in space, but Ruwashi didn't know much about it. According to Ruwashi, the catacombs could be found all over the world, not just in Sino Nation. In Sino Nation, 22 entrances to the catacombs have been discovered so far. The reason why he said that was because the entrances to the catacombs were not fixed. One could suddenly appear at any time. The Great Earthquake of 1920 was the discovery of the third entrance to the catacombs. In the 88 years since then, another 19 entrances had appeared one after another. Humans could only enter from the entrance of the catacombs. They could not enter from other places. The world of the catacombs was filled with all kinds of dangers, and at every moment, there would be a large number of dangers ready to enter the surface world. That was why there were martial artists with great single-target lethality. That was how the policy of constantly raising the status of martial artists came about in recent years. Bairuashi did not stop talking. When she paused, someone in the class spoke with a hoarse voice. "Teacher, are you saying that there is another world beneath our feet?" Bairuashi shook her head and said, "I don't know. It might not be beneath our feet. Its entrance is underground. But this world might not be underground." Her words were a little complicated, but everyone was not brainless. They all understood what she meant. The catacombs could be an alternate dimension, but the entrance was underground. Where was this dimension? Maybe it was underground. Maybe it was in another dimension, or maybe it was not even in the same universe. "Teacher, the discovery of the catacombs is why there is a constant increase in martial artists. Does that mean that only martial artists can enter the catacombs?" Bairuashi shook her head and said, "No, ordinary people can also enter. But after entering the catacombs, firearms will lose their original effect. Maybe what I said is not accurate. Let me put it this way, the catacombs is a little strange. After entering, you can only use your own strength, power that comes from your own body. You can use your fists and legs, use swords, or even use a bow and arrow. The source of power must come from your own body, not heat, electricity, wind, or solar energy. After so many years, experts have analyzed that in the catacombs, only vitality force can be used. As for other external energy sources, they will lose their effect. The source of power for technological weapons will completely lose its effect in the catacombs. This is why the status of martial artists rose after the discovery of the catacombs. Teacher, what exists in the catacombs? Humans? Zombies? Monsters? Or other monsters? That is a world. Bairuashi's eyes were a little complicated as she said. It is a complete world, not purely a cave of monsters. There is everything in it, humans, animals, monsters, in short, other than the lack of modern civilization. It is a newly discovered world. The catacombs world is not purely destructive. Let's not talk about that for now. In short, in the catacombs world, there are some people, some monsters, who are constantly trying to rush out of the catacombs door and enter our world. Once, one of the catacombs door was destroyed, and the monsters of the catacombs world rushed out, resulting in extremely tragic consequences. Teacher, if they enter the surface world, can't we use firearms or even nuclear weapons to kill them? This question was on point. Bairuashi said helplessly, "Yes, the government tried it before. At that time, these intruding monsters were all killed, and many were even vaporized." But, Bairuashi said in a heavy tone, "But because of some unknown reason, these catacombs monsters have been reborn." Reborn? Yes, not reborn on the surface, but in the catacombs world. As I said, they also have humans. Of course, they are not necessarily human, but they look and feel similar to us. If there are humans, they naturally have looks and appearances. Some martial artists have discovered that many of the humans who were killed when they broke into the surface world have been reborn in the catacombs world. They cannot be killed in the surface world. No, they can be killed, but they must be killed by a martial artist. Otherwise, they will not be reborn. In the catacombs world, the monsters killed by martial artists will not be reborn. Research and analysis suggest that it may be due to the suppression effect of vitality force. Therefore, in recent years, major research institutions have been developing weapons that use vitality force as kinetic energy. However, vitality force originates from the human body. Once it leaves the human body, it will become pure blood. This is also the biggest problem that has troubled the research institutions. Currently, the various countries may have some results, but the results are not obvious. Before the invention of effective large-scale weapons that can kill the catacombs world creatures, if the catacombs creatures enter the surface world, it will be a disaster for mankind. We can't wash the ground with nuclear bombs every time. If that continues, the entire Earth will be finished. Therefore, let martial artists guard the catacombs. Let martial artists enter the catacombs, go deep into the catacombs, and kill the possibility of these people rushing to the surface. This is the best way to protect the world and protect mankind. Fong Ping had not asked any questions. Now he asked in a low voice, "Teacher, why do the catacombs world creatures rush to the surface world? Is it because the living environment in the catacombs is bad?" "No." Bairuashi shook her head. "The catacombs is what we call it. It is not as dark and lightless as you think. It is no different from the normal world. In terms of the environment, it is even better than ours. Then, we are not sure of the specific reason. In recent years, we have captured some catacombs creatures, but because of the language barrier, it is difficult to communicate. Of course, now some people are learning the language of the catacombs creatures. Most importantly, the lower levels of the catacombs creatures do not know the reason. For the higher levels, firstly, it is difficult to capture them. Secondly, the higher levels of the catacombs creatures, once they are captured, their brain, or you can call it brain, will develop brain death. We do not know if it is spontaneous or if it is controlled. We are still analyzing this point. Fong Ping continued. In other words, we humans do not have a better way to suppress the catacombs creatures. We can only rely on martial artists to hunt and kill them to reduce the possibility of the catacombs creatures rushing to the surface. That's right. Bairuashi nodded. Otherwise, if any of the catacombs entrances are breached, there will be terrible consequences. A major earthquake is one of them. If the catacombs creatures break through the catacombs entrances, it will cause natural disasters and a lot of casualties. Moreover, the catacombs creatures are extremely destructive. If they are not careful, the whole city will be destroyed. There have been such tragedies in history. In the end, we have to use weapons of mass destruction to destroy them. As a result, the environment has deteriorated. Cities, humans, and the catacombs creatures have all disappeared. However, the catacombs creatures can be resurrected in the catacombs world. This is like drinking poison to quench thirst. In the end, Earth will be destroyed by our own hands. Magic City seemed to be shaking a little last night. Fong Ping mentioned. Bairuashi's expression changed slightly. She sighed softly. That's right. This phenomenon is becoming more and more obvious. Almost all of the 22 catacombs entrances are acting strangely now. The catacombs creatures are constantly attacking the catacombs entrances. Every time they attack, the ground will shake. The stronger the shaking, the closer they are to breaking out. Therefore, once the ground starts shaking, we must immediately send in a large number of martial artists to carry out effective killing. They will die too. When there are enough of them, they will retreat. It was the same in Tian'an before? Yes. It was more serious that time. They were almost breached. Therefore, we had no choice but to send in a large number of martial artists as reinforcements. Even so, there were heavy casualties among the martial artists. As for the ordinary people, Fong Ping said hurriedly, ordinary people. Bairuashi's tone deepened. There are ordinary people in the military department. Do you think that everyone in the military department is a martial artist? A large number of ordinary soldiers will also be stationed outside the catacombs entrances. When necessary, they will rush into the catacombs. Although ordinary people are not as good as martial artists, when they form a military formation, they also possess extremely strong destructive power. Otherwise, it would be difficult to rely on martial artists alone. Even if millions of martial artists joined forces, it would still be difficult to resist. Not all martial artists will enter the 22 catacombs entrances. There are also a large number of rank 1 and 2 martial artists. There are not many martial artists who are actually stationed in the catacombs. Only when the situation is critical will martial artists enter. In the catacombs, the destructive power of Vitality Force is even stronger. A rank 3 martial artist can forcefully break through the catacombs' ordinary military formation. What? This time, it was not Fong Ping. Instead, it was a student. He said in shock, the catacombs creatures also have military formations? Bairuashi repeated again. That is a civilization, not the zombies you think. Do you understand what I mean? At this time, Fong Ping said again, civilization? Instructor, you said that all external sources of energy will lose their effect in the catacombs. Then, without the support of energy, how can a civilization be formed? Don't they need to eat? Don't they need a lot of fire? What about the sun? Without the sun to provide heat, can they really survive? You're wrong about this. The existence of energy is not limited to these. In the catacombs creatures have their own exclusive energy system. Have you seen it in novels or on television? You can think of it as a type of energy mine. They use this type of energy mine for lighting, cooking, and even the forging of weapons. Fong Ping's eyes lit up. He said again, then, can we use this type of energy mine to forge modern weapons to kill? Yes. Bairuashi admitted this point. However, she sighed and said, but the energy mine is the most important source of energy for the catacombs creatures. It is guarded very tightly. Previously, 3 rank 9 grandmasters entered the catacombs world and forcefully robbed it. As a result, a large number of powerhouses from the catacombs creatures chased after them. The last rank 9 died, and the other 2 were also seriously injured. It's too dangerous. The energy mines are all in the depths. For so many years, it's not that we haven't thought of breaking in. But, unless it's absolutely necessary, we must not go too deep. This is because some of the catacombs creatures in the depths of the catacombs usually won't attack the catacombs door. However, if we go too deep and trigger these creatures to attack, then humans will really be in danger. Fong Ping had no more doubts now. All in all, currently, humans were at a disadvantage. They were in a state of defense. Killing near the catacombs door would effectively reduce the strength of these creatures' attack on the catacombs door. Fong Ping had no more doubts, but Fu Changding thought of an important question. He asked immediately, Instructor, are the catacombs creatures very strong? Very strong, Bairuashi said solemnly. Their ordinary troops or cannon fodder usually have rank 1 strength. Rank 2s and rank 3s are as many as the hairs on a cow. Of course, there aren't too many middle ranks and high ranks. Also, they have a very strong sense of territorial awareness. Everyone hurriedly listened attentively. In other words, the catacombs creatures near the catacombs door in Tian'an rarely go to other catacombs doors. This is also the main reason why we can still maintain the current situation. Human martial artists have mobility. We can focus on defending an area and clearing out an area. We don't have to worry about the creatures in all areas gathering together. As Bairuashi continued to explain, everyone finally had a general impression of the catacombs. Chapter 125. It was the end of the month, and we were going to be published on the 13th. Those that were published in the middle of the month were all published on the 1st. He hadn't planned on asking for monthly votes to rush up the rankings, but now that his brothers had helped him, he actually managed to rush up to 4th place on the monthly rankings for new books. The month of new books only lasted for a month, and in reality, it was only half a month for him. At this point, Old Eagle had no choice but to thicken his skin and ask for some more. These past few days, he had gone to the hospital for checkups, re-checkups, and queued up to get the test reports. In any case, there were quite a lot of things to do. He had gotten sick and taken 2 days off from the hospital. Everything had happened at the same time, and he hadn't even paid back the chapters he owed. He felt quite embarrassed, but it was still the same as before. Let's just owe it for now. I'll definitely pay it back in the future. Right now, I have 4,170 monthly votes, so let's count it as 4,100 votes. Everyone, please support me with your monthly votes. At the end of the month, I'll get 1 chapter for every additional 200 monthly votes. Although I still owe it to you, Old Eagle will definitely pay it back. Hopefully, I'll be able to rush up to 3rd place. Also, although I don't have many chapters to update, the word count is still quite high. On average, each chapter has more than 4,000 words. Let's talk about it in private. In any case, 1 chapter is worth 2 chapters for others. Chapter 126. The next day, Thursday, it was still by Ruashi's professional knowledge class at night. Although it was called a professional class, everyone knew that this was the martial arts university's way of imparting basic knowledge to them in the martial arts circle. Building 6. That night, Ruashi brought a lot of printed papers with her. As soon as he arrived in class, he distributed a copy to everyone. What you have now is the most authoritative Grandmaster ranking. Of course, it's only for the Hua Nation and not for other regions. Fong Ping had actually seen the Grandmaster ranking on the internet before, but the ones on the internet were very simple, and most of them were people from the business world. The new ranking list was quite different from the one on the internet. Master ranking first. Li Jun, Commander-in-Chief of Military Department, rank 9. Second, Zhang Tao, Minister of Education, rank 9. Third, Shun Haotian, North Guardian, rank 9. Fourth, Chun Gaiong, Eastern Guardian, rank 9. Fong Ping scanned it briefly and was slightly stunned. He could not help but ask Fu Chanding beside him in a low voice, "What's a guardian?" Fu Chanding looked at him in surprise. After a while, he explained, "You're really ignorant about politics. In Hua, the central government ruled the country. The military, education, and detective departments were under the jurisdiction of the central government. Although these three departments were said to be the strongest, they actually neglected one thing. They were the governors of the various regions. The viceroy had the power to govern a region and was under the direct jurisdiction of the central government. In between, there was actually another authority, the East, South, West, and North Guardians. Usually, the main task of the four guardians was to supervise the various parties. They were considered the superiors of the governor and could also be seen as a supervisory organization. The Guardian Manor has a lot of power, but it also has a large area of jurisdiction. It won't be stationed in one place." "Is that so?" Fong Ping frowned. "I don't think it's mentioned on the internet." "That's normal. The Guardian Mansion is actually very low-key. To be honest, almost no one knows about the appointment of the Guardian Mansion's Guardian Envoys. I didn't really understand it before, but now I can roughly guess. Maybe the House of Guardians is also responsible for suppressing the entrance to the catacombs, so they don't want to be too high-profile. The Guardian is this strong?" Fong Ping took a look. The top 10 Grandmaster powerhouses, the 4 Guardians of the House of Guardians, were all on the list. Together with the ministers of the 3 departments, they occupied 7 spots. In addition, among the top 10, there were also 2 people from the central government on the list. Of course, they were not the top few big shots of the government. Those big shots were not on the list. It was unknown whether it was because their strength was average, their management ability was outstanding, or they were avoiding it. In short, he didn't see any of those big shots in the top 10. The 3 departments, the Guardian's Mansion, and the central government occupied 9 of the top 10 places. From this, it could be seen that the central government was definitely confident in being able to govern so many experts. Among the top 10, there was only one person who wasn't an official. 8th, Zhao Xingwu, Sect Alliance leader. Fong Ping took a look and asked curiously, "What's a Sect Alliance?" Before Fu Chanding could say anything, Ruashi walked over and smiled. "Didn't I say it before?" Before the establishment of Capital Martial Arts Club, the inheritance of martial arts was in the form of sects, gangs, and martial arts centers. After that, martial arts universities appeared. Although forces like the sects had declined, they had been passed down for so many years that it was impossible for them to give up completely. Furthermore, the sects also had their own unique characteristics. Due to the lack of resources and isolation, their numbers were small and their overall strength was not strong. However, there were still experts among them. The government established the sect management department and included the sects in the management system. The sect alliance is actually an alliance system established by these sects to ensure a certain degree of authority. Mr. Zhao Xingwu is the leader, fighting for status and resources for the sections. "I thought the sects were all destroyed." Fong Ping was a little surprised. He did not expect the sects to still exist. Ruashi smiled. "There's no need to be surprised. There will always be people who are a little stubborn. It's impossible for everyone to give up on the sects that have been passed down for so many years. The government won't reject their existence either. As long as they abide by the laws and regulations, it's up to them. Actually, you can also see them as a different kind of martial arts university. The sect leaders and the like are seen as principals, elders, and protectors. You can just see them as instructors. Are the sects strong? Average. Ruashi smiled again. Let's put it this way. There are about 20 to 30 sects left. I don't pay much attention to the exact number. If they exist in the form of an alliance, then their strength is not weak, comparable to MCMU. However, if they exist in a single sect, then their strength is very low. Some sects have 1 middle rank and 3 to 5 low ranks. How strong do you think they can be? In the modern era, the sects have become weaker and weaker. If it weren't for leader Zhao supporting them, the number of sects would probably be even smaller than it is now. Fang Ping thought about it and felt that it was normal. There were fewer martial artists. The sects were the giants, a special class. However, there were more martial artists and martial arts universities. The central government ruled the country and had countless resources. Whether it was cultivation resources or population resources, the sects could not compare. Martial arts universities could recruit students from all over the country. Could the sects do the same? As time went on, the sects would naturally decline. Fang Ping did not ask any more questions and continued reading. On the list, there were some he had heard of and some he had not. There were businessmen, government personnel, military powerhouses, and martial arts university powerhouses. Of course, Fang Ping also saw a few sect martial artists on the list. Capital City Martial Arts University's principal was ranked 36th on the list. His strength was peak rank 8. There were 2 peak rank 8 martial artists ahead of him. In other words, there were 33 rank 9 martial artists in Sino Nation. This was much more than Fang Ping had imagined. MCMU's principal was ranked 41st. He was also a peak rank 8 powerhouse. Fang Ping waited until Brother Ma was out of the top 100 at the 104th place. This rank 8 powerhouse who had broken through rank 8 and was famous in Polar Light was actually ranked outside the 100th place. The Grandmaster list only stopped abruptly after the 300th place. Fang Ping did not look at them in detail. After he was done, he asked Fu Changding, "Are there more than 300 Grandmasters in Sino nations?" Fu Changding shook his head. "I don't know. There should be. Maybe even more. Maybe even 400 to 500. Of course, there might not be so many. Actually, from what I know, the number is much less than this. I didn't even know about many of them before. I guess they might be guarding the catacombs. The Grandmasters who are active in the country should be about 100. Fang Ping nodded. 100 or so was his previous opinion. There were about 30 Grandmaster powerhouses active in the business world. On the government side, there were only about 10 active Grandmaster governors. Fang Ping estimated the number of powerhouses in the military department. He estimated that there were about 40 to 50 of them in total. Including the powerhouses from martial arts universities, there were about 100 of them. Now it seemed that he had underestimated the number of Grandmasters in Sino Nation. There are so many Grandmasters. No wonder they could suppress 22 catacombs entrances. I thought that middle ranks were already powerhouses. Now it seems that I was too optimistic. In reality, with a population of more than 1 billion, Sino Nation producing 300 to 400 Grandmasters was close to 1 in 5 million. This ratio was not considered high. Some small countries had a population of tens of millions. Based on this ratio, how many Grandmasters would there be in a country? Of course, it might not be based on population. Small countries could survive well because they had more resources and more powerhouses. There were dozens of provinces in Sino Nation. Evenly distributed, there were only about 10 Grandmasters in each province. This included those who guarded the catacombs and did not show their faces. The number of Grandmasters who appeared in the open was very small. It was considered good that Nanjiang had a few Grandmasters. After looking at the Grandmaster list, Ruashi smiled and said, "Grandmasters are a little far from us. Actually, martial arts university students are more concerned about the 3 lower ranks list. However, martial artists in the 3 lower ranks are the largest group. There are millions of martial artists in Sino Nation. More than 80% of them are in the 3 lower ranks. That's 800,000 people. One can imagine that with so many martial artists and not all of them fighting each other, it's extremely difficult to come up with an authoritative list. That's why everyone entertains themselves. It's up to others whether they approve of the list or not. Among the 3 lower ranks list, there are 3 more authoritative ones. One is made by MCMAU, another by Capital City Martial Arts University, and the last one is made by the Department of Investigation Services. The list made by the Department of Investigation Services is relatively more objective. As she said that, Bairuo, she added, "I sent it to you just now. It's on the last page. You can flip through it." Fong Ping hurriedly flipped to the last page. Different from the Grandmaster list, there was only one page for martial artists in the 3 lower ranks, which was 100. He skimmed through it. Fong Ping had never heard of those at the top of the list. It was normal. Martial artists in the 3 lower ranks were not that famous. There were those from Capital City Martial Arts University, MCMAU, and other martial arts universities. Fong Ping searched for a while and found Wang Jinyang's name. This list was probably not recent. Wang Jinyang had not broken through before, so it was normal for him to be listed as a martial artist in the 3 lower ranks. Number 27, Nanjiang Martial Arts University, Wang Jinyang. Old Wang is only ranked 27 in the 3 lower ranks. Fong Ping was in slight disbelief. This was Old Wang, who had swept through the 3 lower ranks, the kind that MCMAU and CCMU could not even lift their heads. Feeling a little unfair on Old Wang's behalf, Fong Ping said directly, "Teacher Bai, Nanjiang Martial Arts University's Wang Jinyang is only ranked 27. Bairuo smiled faintly. "You know Wang Jinyang, right? Ranking 27 is actually very high. You have to know that Sino Nation is very big. Not only are there public martial arts universities, there are also SECs, the Military Department, the Department of Investigation Services, and the Catacombs Guardians. This ranking is just a collection of information about martial artists that are more public." Although Wang Jinyang had a good record in both MCMAU and CCMAU, he was only a rank 1 in MCMAU. The rank 3 martial artists that CCMAU challenged were not really the most outstanding ones. Many peak rank 3 martial artists are actually in the catacombs. They are not very interested in these challenges, but their performance in the catacombs or in other missions is extremely outstanding. Being able to enter the top 100 is a reflection of their strength. As for the top 100, the ranking does not represent their true strength. After all, these people have not fought each other before. Fong Ping nodded slightly, agreeing with this point. Yang Xiaoman, who was sitting in the front row, said with some envy, "I wonder when we can enter this list." Bairuo smiled without saying a word. There were too many martial artists in the 3 lower ranks. Did they really think that anyone could enter? Peak rank 3 Wang Jinyang, who had achieved many shocking results in the north, was only ranked 27. In MCMAU, there were currently only 6 people in the 3 lower ranks who had entered the top 100. These 6 people were almost all Year 4 students. None of them were currently on campus, and they were all breaking through to rank 4. Maybe they had already broken through. Yang Xiaoman's strength was not bad among the new students, but as a Year 4, she might not be able to enter the top 100. Some people might be very strong, but if they did not fight and kept a low profile, they would not be entered. Fong Ping did not pay attention to Yang Xiaoman's words. He looked back at the ranking again. The person in first place was a rank 3 martial artist from the military department. Most of the top 10 were also from the military department. Fong Ping guessed that it might be because the other party was in the catacombs and had more opportunities to fight, so the martial artists in the 3 lower ranks in the military department were also stronger. On MCMU's side, the person with the highest ranking was a senior who was ranked 16th, Chun Wenlong. Fong Ping asked around and found out that Fu Chanding actually knew about him. He was a Year 3 student who was also the vice president of the Martial Arts Society, but he was always not on campus. Fu Chanding said with some regret, "When Wang Jinyang came to MCMU last time, Senior Chen was not around. Otherwise, we might have been able to see peak rank 3 lower martial artists fight. For us, middle-ranked and high-ranked martial artists are a little far from us. The 3 lower ranks, however, are very close to us," everyone discussed for a while. Some people talked about wanting to be on the ranking list in the future. Some people thought that the ranking list was not very reliable. MCMU's most powerful rank, 3 student, was actually ranked 16th. Moreover, the Grandmaster ranking did not meet everyone's expectations. MCMU's Vice-Chancellor was only ranked 41st. At first, everyone thought that MCMU's Vice-Chancellor would definitely be in the top 10. Even if he was not in the top 10, he had to be in front of CCMU's Vice-Chancellor. Now, not only was the Vice-Chancellor weaker than other Vice-Chancellors, but so were the students. On CCMU's side, there were 8 martial artists in the 3 lower ranks in the top 100. The strongest one was in the top 10, ranked 6th. Compared to MCMU, they were much more powerful. MCMU, which was known as one of the big 2, seemed to be weaker than the other side in every aspect. This made many students feel indignant. The strongest was still the military department. Whether it was the Grandmaster ranking or other ranking lists, there were many powerhouses in the military department. Hearing the discussion, Bairuashi said softly, they also earned their honor by risking their lives. Compared to the martial artists in the military department, martial arts university students are so much luckier. Some of the martial artists in the military department did not become martial artists, but they were already fighting in the catacombs. When they became martial artists, they were also fighting from the beginning. Of course, they might not be as all-round as the MCMU students. MCMU students did not only have killing as their goal, they also had to learn some cultural and management classes. However, being all-round also meant that they were not focused enough. In addition, they had little experience in training, so it was normal for them to fall behind the other side in martial arts. These 2 days, we have been attending professional knowledge classes. When the weekend comes, you will all be attending other classes. After chatting with the students for a while, Bairuashi reminded them. When the class was over, Bairuashi suddenly said to Fong Ping and Zhao Xuemei, your instructor went to the catacombs yesterday. She was not in school during this period. She left in a hurry, so she did not have time to inform you. If you have any questions, you can look for me. Instructor went to the catacombs? Chapter 127. Lu Fengru had gone to the catacombs. Fong Ping and Zhao Xuemei could only cultivate on their own before the special training classes started. Fortunately, both of them focused on honing their bones. Lu Fengru's absence did not affect them much. In the blink of an eye, it was Saturday. The special training classes did not start in the evening, but in the morning. In the morning, Fong Ping and the others did not go to their usual classroom. Instead, they went to a martial arts training classroom in Building 6. This time, the instructor was not Bairuashi. Not long after Fong Ping and the others arrived, Luo Yichuan entered the classroom. As soon as he entered the classroom, Luo Yichuan asked directly, everyone knows about the catacombs? Everyone nodded. The situation is not good now. More than 50 instructors from MCMU have entered the catacombs to guard it. The Vice-Chancellor and Dean don't have time to care about the special training classes. But that doesn't mean they don't care. MCMU can't afford to lose now. If they lose, their allocation of resources next year might be reduced by about 30%. This is not a price MCMU can afford. Therefore, everyone must pay attention to the upcoming training. After saying that, Luo Yichuan said, I'll teach everyone the use of weapons. Although some students don't use weapons, in the 3 lower ranks, the advantages of weapons cannot be ignored. Whether you major or not, it's necessary to know a little bit. At least you won't be in situations where you can only hack and slash without knowing how to use a weapon. Luo Yichuan majored in spear techniques, but it did not mean that he did not know how to use other weapons. He had a deep understanding of cold weapons. In martial arts universities, or among new students, the saber is the most commonly used weapon. However, in daily life, what we can get and come into contact with the most is a staff. Today, I'll teach everyone the basics of staff techniques. The requirements for a staff that is most suitable for martial artists are not high, but not low either. Now, everyone pick a solid wooden staff that is taller than you. It has to be easy to use. Not too long, not too short. Everyone was quite interested in learning weapons. After hearing that, they all went to the side to pick a wooden staff. After everyone had picked a wooden staff, Fong Ping looked around and saw a large group of students holding a wooden staff. He suddenly felt like laughing. This scene was like a group of beggars holding a dog-beating stick. All they lacked was a bowl. Luo Yichuan quickly noticed the change in his expression. Frowning slightly, Luo Yichuan suddenly said, "Fong Ping, step forward." Fong Ping stood up hurriedly. "Before I teach you how to use a stick, you must know that even a wooden stick without a blade is extremely lethal. Now, let me demonstrate the basic moves of the staff technique." As he spoke, Luo Yichuan looked at Fong Ping and said, "As the class monitor, you'll have to cooperate with me and show everyone the practical effects of staff techniques." Fong Ping suddenly had a bad feeling, but he could only nod and say, "Okay, watch carefully." As soon as Luo Yichuan finished speaking, the staff in his hand was instantly leveled horizontally, thrusting toward Fong Ping. Fong Ping felt that his movements were not fast enough. Just as he was about to retreat, he used the wooden staff in his hand to block. However, it was his first time using a stick, so he wasn't very familiar with it. Before he could block, Luo Yichuan's wooden stick had already pierced toward his chest. Bang! Fong Ping felt a sharp pain in his chest. His face paled, and he quickly took a few steps back. Staff techniques, there are very few basic moves. Hit, hack, stab, pick, pull, lift, pierce, push. This is stabbing. You have to be fast and strong. You don't have to stab the chest. Our targets are the heart and throat. As Luo Yichuan spoke, he swung the wooden stick at Fong Ping. This is hacking. When hacking, you have to be steady and your strength must be penetrating. Bang! This time, Fong Ping hurriedly swung the stick to block. Holding the wooden stick with both hands, he finally managed to block Luo Yichuan's hack. However, Fong Ping felt his hands go numb, and the web between his thumb and forefinger hurt. If the opponent blocks, you can continue hacking. You have to use more strength. Luo Yichuan did not stop. He continued hacking. The sounds of the sticks colliding became louder. Fong Ping's face was flushed red, and he retreated continuously. He could only use the wooden stick to block. Of course, if you can't do it, you have to learn to change your moves in time. The opponent is in a defensive position, and his strength and attention are all focused on the upper half of his body. At this moment, you can quickly change your moves. Sweep. Sweep the stick across a large area. The tip of the stick should be close to the ground, and the body should be tilted and swung. The sweep must be fast and powerful, and the force must reach the tip of the stick. He spoke slowly, but his movements were extremely fast. Fong Ping was still holding the wooden stick in defense when Luo Yichuan's stick swept toward him. It was not aimed at his feet, but at his calves. Fong Ping's expression changed. His reaction was a beat too slow, and Luo Yichuan's stick hit his left calf. Hiss! Fong Ping's leg was in extreme pain. He was not feeling well. Luo Yichuan did not go easy on him. Next pick. Luo Yichuan did not care about him. He had just finished sweeping the long stick when he changed his move again. He flicked it upward, and the wooden stick hit the stick in Fong Ping's hand. The vibrations numbed Fong Ping's web between his thumb and forefinger, and he could not help but want to let go. This is seduction. The long stick changed again. Fong Ping's expression changed. Or was he hitting? Could he hit his nether regions? Fong Ping retreated hastily, but Luo Yichuan followed closely, unwilling to let go. The stick changed again. This is pulling. This is piercing. A minute later, Luo Yichuan retracted his stick, his face not red, and he was not panting. He said, "I've demonstrated the basic moves to everyone just now. Did everyone see it clearly?" No. Many people held back their laughter and shouted hurriedly. At the side, Fong Ping was in a sorry state. There were many red and swollen areas on his hands and feet. Even his face was red and bruised. Luo Yichuan said lightly, "Don't underestimate any weapon. If you use it well, it's a deadly weapon. I only used rank 1 strength just now. The upper limit of my vitality outburst is not more than 200 calories. Student Fong Ping, Watch carefully and learn carefully. Even if you don't use a weapon, it's an additional skill. Even if you don't learn it, understanding it will help you in the future. Fong Ping looked embarrassed and nodded hurriedly. All right, get in line. I'll split it up and teach you one move at a time. Ask if you don't understand. When Fong Ping returned to line, Fu Chanding said sympathetically, Your face is swollen. Get lost. It's really swollen. Get lost. Speaking of which, it's not that easy to be a class monitor. Fong Ping, the other instructors won't ask you to demonstrate, will they? If you say one more word, I'll beat you to death right now. Fong Ping's face was gloomy. The corner of his mouth twitched slightly. He had a bad feeling. Was he being too high profile? Now that his instructor was not in school, he could only be at the mercy of these rank 6 instructors. In fact, Fu Chanding's jinx was spot on. In the next few days, Tang Feng taught leg techniques, Zhou Shiping taught palm techniques, and Luo Yichuan taught the familiarity and use of various weapons. Every time, there was only one target, Fong Ping. Every time, Fong Ping would get beaten up. He was indignant at first, but he eventually resigned to his fate. He was only pulled onto the stage for the first demonstration. Soon, the students had their own combat training. Fong Ping changed his opponent every time. He would switch to whoever laughed the loudest. His mastery of these moves might not be better than the others, but his vitality was strong and his explosive power was strong. Every time he fought, Fong Ping only used one move against him. Hack! He hacked with a staff, a saber, and even his fists and legs. In the end, everyone in the special training class, except for a few people, had bruises all over their faces. Fong Ping was no exception. In October, the special training class's training was mainly focused on teaching basic moves. Every day, the students in the special training class were compensated with a normal vitality pill to recover their vitality. Bairuashi's professional knowledge class became the most popular class. It was the only day that everyone did not have to get beaten up. Lu Fengru only returned to school in late October. Faculty Dormitory Area 1, Villa Number 8. Fong Ping and Zhao Xuemei entered the villa together with bruises on their faces. Lu Fengru was leaning on the sofa watching television. When she saw them, she said lazily, Let's find a place to sit. Fong Ping and Zhao Xuemei sat down on one side of the sofa. The catacombs incident is over for now. This round of attacks has been cleared. However, it is a fact that the catacombs creatures are attacking the catacombs gate more frequently. Everyone's demand for resources will increase. Now that the school has made time, the other schools will do the same. Your training will become more complicated starting from this month's basic training. Of course, it will also become dangerous. Fong Ping, how many bones have you honed? At the beginning of October, Fong Ping had honed 28 bones. It had been more than 20 days since then. Fong Ping replied immediately, I've honed 40 bones. 40 already? Yes. After honing my right lower limb, the honing of my left foot has sped up a lot. Not bad. It's not slow. Lu Fengru rarely praised him. Zhao Xuemei's expression was so complicated that she could eat someone alive. She whispered, Instructor, I've also honed 40 bones. Her progress this month was not bad either. The vitality pills provided by the special training class had saved her from having to worry about replenishing her vitality. In the first month, she had honed 4 bones. This month, she had honed 5 bones even faster. However, when she had honed 31 bones, Fong Ping was still not a martial artist. She had honed 40 bones, but Fong Ping had also honed 40 bones. The difference was too big. Lu Fengru smiled faintly. There's no need to feel inferior. He has honed his bones 3 times, and you've only honed once. He has his secrets. At least his vitality replenishes faster than yours. It's not surprising that he has such progress. You're doing well too. By the end of the semester, you'll have honed 50 bones. If you have more, you might even reach peak rank 1. As for Fong Ping, he might reach peak rank 1 soon. However, an increase in honing progress and vitality strength does not mean an increase in strength. After saying that, Lu Fengru was silent for a moment. Then, she said, the catacombs are getting more and more dangerous. That's why all of you need to improve your strength in all aspects, including actual combat. Fong Ping, are you still the same as before? Have you decided whether or not you want to participate in the championship? Fong Ping looked conflicted. After a moment, he nodded. I've decided. I want to participate. I heard that there are a lot of rewards this time. The company had not been profitable. In reality, it was not that fast. This early stage was a business of throwing money at it. His wealth had been depleting recently. Although he had obtained about 30 normal vitality pills this month, the increased wealth was not enough for him to hone his bones. At his previous peak, his wealth had already reached 6 million. This month, he had spent more than 2 million wealth. Even with the pills as compensation, his wealth did not increase. Yesterday, it had dropped to 8 million. Xiumei, what about you? Zhao Xiumei said with determination. I want to participate, but I might not have the chance. She was in the special training class now. Her strength was not considered weak, but there were at least 10 or 20 people who were similar to her. In the end, she might not have the chance to participate. Lu Fengru did not console her. She smiled. Since you both want to participate, then there's no problem. With this thought, you'll have the motivation to improve. As your instructor, if both of you can participate in the championship at the end and show off your skills, it will also make me proud. Go back and pack up tonight. Take 2 days off. I'll bring you out for a trip in the next 2 days. Fong Ping was a little uncomfortable. He whispered, Instructor, are we going to the catacombs? Huh? Lu Fengru looked at him with disdain. She did not even bother to answer. Would she bring 2 rookies to the catacombs to die? Even if Fong Ping had killed 2 people earlier, they were still rookies. Coming out of Villa number 8, Fong Ping looked at Zhao Xiumei. Where do you think the instructor is bringing us? I don't know. Zhao Xiumei did not know and did not want to guess. She said casually, Anywhere is fine. I think it's a good thing. That's not necessarily true. I've always thought that our instructor is not very reliable. Zhao Xiumei glanced at him. After walking for a while, she said, A loose tongue can cause trouble. Don't you know that a peak rank 6 can hear very far? The instructor can't be that bored, right? That's not necessarily true. Zhao Xiumei laughed. She said with a hint of schadenfreude, Looks like you haven't been beaten up enough. You speak as if you haven't been beaten up, Fong Ping retorted. When they reached the new student dormitory area, he asked, Are you really going to participate in the championship? I don't think it's necessary for girls to participate. Let's not talk about me first. What about you? Zhao Xiumei asked in return. I don't think you care much about winning or losing the championship. Why do you want to participate? To get benefits, Fong Ping said helplessly. I feel like I've used up too much recently. The school's daily supplements are too little. If we don't participate in the championship, will the school give us any benefits? If this goes on, we'll really run out of money. I also feel that the instructor wants us to participate. It might have something to do with the worsening situation. I still have to stay in the school for a few years. I'm still a new student. If I don't stand up for the school now, how do you think the school will look at me? During this period of time, Fong Ping had thought it through. He was not a nobody among the new students. If he avoided the battle, how would the school think of him? Although the school said they would not force him, if he, the rookie king, was not willing to contribute, the other students would definitely have psychological changes. The best-case scenario was that the school did not care. The worst-case scenario was that the school felt that Fong Ping did not have a sense of belonging to MCMAU at all. In the future, they would not favor him in terms of resources, and it would be normal for them to give up on cultivating Fong Ping. MCMAU had thick thighs. At this time, Fong Ping could not give up his status as an MCMAU top student. Otherwise, there would be trouble in the future. When Zhao Xiumei heard this, she said gloomily, We're still worrying about getting a spot to participate in the championship. Look at you. If I were you, I wouldn't hesitate at all. We're different. Fong Ping spoke the truth. If it was possible, he really wanted to advance to rank 2 or rank 3 steadily, all the way to Grandmaster. Chapter 128. The next day, Fong Ping and Zhao Xuemei were waiting at the school gates early in the morning. Lu Fengru did not walk. She drove there. A red sports car. Fong Ping had not gone out for 2 months. He had almost forgotten about the car. Now that he saw Lu Fengru driving, he could not help but feel a little out of place. What are you looking at? Get in. Lu Fengru was very fashionable. She even wore sunglasses. After Fong Ping and Zhao Xuemei got in the car, Lu Fengru did not say much. The car sped out of the school. The car drove all the way to the suburbs of Magic City. Finally, the car stopped in front of a compound. Get out! Fong Ping got out of the car quickly and looked around. It was very desolate, very different from Magic City's urban area. He could even see farmlands nearby. The compound where the car was parked was not a high-rise building, but it was not small. 2 strong men stood at the gate. They did not say anything when they saw Lu Fengru. They sized them up and then looked away. Lu Fengru ignored them and did not show them any identification. She led Fong Ping and Zhao Xuemei into the compound. When they reached the depths of the compound, Lu Fengru stopped in front of a guarded door. Is there a death match today? The guard was also a strong man. After hearing the question, he looked at Fong Ping and Zhao Xuemei's innocent faces and grinned. Yes, 10,000 per person. Lu Fengru did not pay. She threw a normal vitality pill at him. The guard glanced at it and nodded slightly. Go in. After entering the door, Fong Ping realized that it was a whole different world. There were a few more doors behind the door. Lu Fengru looked straight ahead. Gradually, Fong Ping heard a hubbub of noise and voices. Fong Ping realized something and asked in a low voice, Instructor, is this an underground fight? Sort of, but it's semi-public. It's not like martial artists don't have disputes. The government doesn't encourage people to fight to the death in front of the public. Therefore, these places came into being. Those who have grudges, those who hate, those who want to earn money, those who want to train, and those who want to see blood all come here. Martial arts university students are few in number. They're all treasures. They can't arrange for people to kill them every day. Here, there's no such concern. Many of the cultivators here are not good people. Even if I kill them, I won't feel guilty. With that, the shouts from the front grew louder and louder. Kill him! Kill him! Trash! Get up! Kill him! Blow his head off! Fong Ping frowned slightly. Zhao Xuemei's face was pale as well. Lu Fengru said faintly, I didn't ask you to go on stage. Go in and take a look first. You'll get used to it after seeing some blood. Watch more life and death battles and broaden your horizons. At the critical moment, you won't get weak at the sight of a dead person. Lu Fengru had brought them out this time to see blood. That time in school was really nothing. It happened too fast. Fong Ping might not even be used to it. Both of them did not speak and followed Lu Fengru through the last door. As soon as he entered, Fong Ping could feel the feverish atmosphere. Just like some boxing matches, it was surrounded by stands and in the middle was the ring. At this moment, there were many people in the audience. There were men and women, young and old, and the noise was very loud. In the arena, 2 men were fighting. It was not appropriate to say that they were fighting. One of them had already been knocked to the ground. Just as Fong Ping and the others entered, the person who was still standing suddenly kicked the head of the person who had fallen to the ground. Immediately after, the big screens around them gave a close-up. Ugh! Zhao Xuemei took one look and could not help but want to vomit. Lu Fengru snorted. Hold it in. This is the life and death arena. It's normal for people to die. There are winners and losers, and there are exhibition matches too. But those have nothing to do with you. Your mission today is to watch the competition. You have to be calm and collected when you see blood. Only then will you achieve your goal. Don't get weak at the knees. If normal people can take it, there's no reason you can't. Also, don't be affected by the atmosphere. The audience around them went crazy. Some of them were yelling with bloodshot eyes, which led the crowd around them to yell crazily too. Lu Fengru was not affected at all. Seeing Zhao Xuemei's lowered head, she suddenly frowned. Look, can't you even take this little bit? If you can't take it, then get out now and go back to school. Don't bring up the matter of being disqualified. Instructor, get out or open your eyes wide and watch carefully. Zhao Xuemei's face was pale, but she did not move. She endured the nausea and trembled, raising her head to look at the arena. Beside her, Fong Ping was much better. It was not the first time he had seen such a situation. Back in Auspicious Sun, the evil sect martial artist was beaten to death on the spot. Blood even splattered all over him. He had really vomited then. Last time he had killed 2 people with his own hands. At that time, his legs were also very weak. After that, it was not too much of an obstacle. Now, although it was a little disgusting and bloody, Fong Ping could still take it. As he was thinking, Lu Fengru suddenly said, "Zhao Xuemei, watch here." "Fong Ping, follow me." Fong Ping hurried after her. Lu Fengru led him backstage. Fong Ping was a little nervous. Was she asking him to go on stage? He was not too happy to accept a fight to the death for no reason. A minute later, the 2 of them arrived backstage. There should be surveillance here. Soon, a middle-aged brawny man with a strong aura walked toward them. When he saw Lu Fengru, the brawny man smiled. "What brings Lu? Invincible instructor here? It's my honor." "Cut the crap." Lu Fengru did not stand on ceremony either. She pointed at Fong Ping and said, "Make arrangements to collect and examine the corpse." "Ah!" Fong Ping was stunned, but the burly man was not surprised. He chuckled and said, "Sure, little Zhao." Following the burly man's shout, a young man jogged over and said respectfully, "Boss, take this little brother to the morgue. If someone dies later, let him go up to the stage to collect the corpse." "All right, just leave him alone in the morgue." Fong Ping's expression changed. He could not help but glance at Lu Fengru. Lu Fengru did not care about him. She found a place to sit down and said lazily, "Open your eyes wide and look. It's just a corpse. Are you afraid? By the way, are there any horror movies? Find the scariest movie in the morgue and close the door. Don't let him run around. Instructor, training courage." Cut the crap. Are you coming or not? If you don't go, I'll throw you into the arena now. Don't blame me if you get beaten to death." Fong Ping pulled a long face and followed little Zhao to the back. As the 2 of them walked, Fong Ping laughed dryly. "Brother, my instructor was just joking. There's no need to play horror movies." Little Zhao shook his head quickly and said, "That won't do. Since I said it's the scariest movie, then it must be played. Little brother, don't be afraid. People are already dead, so there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a horror movie. It's nothing." Fong Ping was speechless. It was nothing. It was easy for him to say. Fortunately, it was not nighttime and there were many people around, so he was not too worried. However, the further they walked, the fewer people there were. The place became darker and the lights dimmed. Fong Ping felt a little uncomfortable. Was he doing this on purpose? After walking for a few minutes, they could no longer hear the shouts in front of them. Little Zhao brought Fong Ping to a stop in front of a room. There were 2 people standing guard outside the door. When they saw little Zhao, they greeted him immediately. "Brother Zhao?" "Yes." "Nothing's been done inside, right?" "Not yet." "That's good. Let this little brother in. Turn on the TV inside and play Spirit Souls Lock. Dim the lights. Same rules. You 2 can leave after you're done." Little Zhao made the arrangements naturally. It was obvious that this was not the first time he had done this. The 2 people guarding outside the door stared at Fong Ping and laughed. They did not dawdle and hurried inside to make the arrangements. Soon, the 2 of them left the door. They laughed and said, "It's done? Little brother, go in." Xiao Zhao looked at Fong Ping with a smile on his face. Fong Ping was a little conflicted. He gritted his teeth and walked in. He had just entered, and before he could see what was going on, the door was closed. "Little brother, we'll leave first. If someone dies later, we'll call you. It'll be fine. We've been here for so many years, and we've never seen a corpse come back to life." Before he finished speaking, the footsteps outside the door gradually faded away. Fong Ping did not have the energy to complain. Lu Fengru was really imaginative. She had actually asked him to come to such a horrible place. Only now did Fong Ping have the mood to look at the layout of the room. The room was not big. It was about 50 square meters. There were a total of 6 beds arranged side by side. Currently, there were people on 3 of the beds, dead people. When Fong Ping came in earlier, the one who had been beaten to death was also there, and he was right next to him. Other than the beds, there was nothing else in the room. There was only a hanging television, which was currently playing. The 3 corpses all had hideous expressions. They were not covered, and the smell of blood was rather strong. Fong Ping glanced at them from the corner of his eye. He saw that all 3 of their eyes were wide open. He did not know if that was the case from the start, or if it was the doing of the 2 fellows just now. F***CK? Is this necessary? Fong Ping cursed. At that moment, there was only a small light bulb flickering weakly in the room, and the television screen was dimly lit. However, Fong Ping felt a little creeped out. Killing people and camping corpses were not the same. Murderers were not afraid when they killed people, but if they had to squat in front of corpses for an entire night, they would probably be scared out of their wits. I didn't kill you guys. I'm just here to take a look, Fong Ping muttered to himself to give himself some courage. At that moment, a faint voice came from the television. Fong Ping cursed again. Who are you trying to scare? Who's afraid of this thing? F***CK. He had just finished speaking when a bloody ghost face suddenly appeared on the television. Fong Ping was shocked. He panted and tried to find something to say. Seriously, instructor. There's no need to do this, is there? Outside the room, in another room, dozens of meters away, little Zhao and the other 2 were smoking and chatting. One of the 2 burly men guarding the door chuckled and said, "One look, and you can tell that he's a newbie from a martial arts university. How long do you think he can last? Half an hour? I think he'll die at the end of 10 minutes. Do you want to take a gamble?" There were martial arts university students who came to train their courage before, but they were so scared that they peed their pants. Honestly, I don't understand why the government supports these martial arts university fellows so much. If we really throw them into the arena one by one, I guarantee they'll die quickly. Little Zhao shook his head slightly. Don't underestimate these geniuses. It's not like no one has ever been in the arena before. After surviving the first 3 rounds, these people have improved rapidly. Once they've trained their courage and gained experience, these brats are getting more and more ruthless. Their vitality is high, and their cultivation methods are strong. Those casual martial artists really can't compare to them. That's true. It's a pity that we can't get into martial arts universities. The burly man sighed, then laughed and said, "These are all matters for the future. Brats who have just debuted aren't that powerful. Let's talk about this one. Look at him. He's probably a freshman. Do you think he'll run away in fear?" "I don't know. I added something to him. He'll definitely pee his pants later." Little Zhao frowned slightly. "What did you do?" "Nothing much. I made a little toy. When those corpses suddenly jump up, do you think he'll cry?" "Nonsense." While these people were talking, Fong Ping gradually calmed down. "They're just dead people. I didn't kill them. Moreover, my strength is improving rapidly. Even if these fellows really come back to life, I'll beat them to death." Fong Ping muttered. He was no longer as afraid as he had been at first. He glanced at the corpses beside him. Fong Ping was even in the mood to size them up. He muttered, "Honed upper limbs." His right hand is thick and strong. The honing should be completed. His left hand doesn't seem to be completed. He honed between 35 to 45 bones, probably not more than 50. This one too. He's honed upper limbs too. This one's lower limbs. His bones are exposed. His opponent isn't weak. He actually broke his honed bones. He probably died from a punch. The vital point is in his throat. One punch shattered his laryngeal bones. Fong Ping began to analyze. In martial arts universities, there were also such courses. The main point was to analyze vital points and deduce combat techniques. After watching for a while, Fong Ping frowned slightly. What happened to this one? His vital points aren't even injured. How did he die? After a moment of hesitation, Fong Ping felt around the second corpse that was still relatively intact. Suppressing his disgust, he said, "His sternum is broken. His internal organs might have been pierced by the sternum, causing him to bleed to death." Rank 1 martial artists have a lot of vital points. When they reach rank 3 and complete the honing of their torso, they have much fewer vital points. Hitting the sternum with a punch isn't a big deal. If he's lucky, his internal organs won't be hurt, and he can still retaliate quickly. As soon as he finished speaking, Fong Ping's eyes twitched. He quickly retreated. A few corpses suddenly bounced up. Fong Ping's heart skipped a beat. Then, without thinking, he lifted his leg and swept it. Smack! The corpse that was swept was sent flying. Fong Ping was stunned for a moment. Then he said exasperatedly, "Childish." He was shocked earlier, but he was not completely defenseless now. He swept it over instinctively. When he saw the corpses fall to the ground, he knew that someone was playing a prank. "Don't blame me. I didn't kick you on purpose." Fong Ping apologized, lifted the man up, and placed him on the bed. Sigh. Martial artists. How sad. Fong Ping sighed. He did not know if these people were good or bad, but he was not afraid that they would take advantage of him a second time after he died. When he thought about it, it was quite sad. In the eyes of ordinary people, martial artists were high and mighty. However, once they entered the martial arts circle, they would realize that without strength, their lives were worse than ordinary people's. If I don't want this day to come, if I don't want to be abandoned in the wilderness, if I don't want to die in the catacombs, then I have to improve my strength as soon as possible. I can't just hide. Once something happens in the catacombs, no one can run. Wait a little longer. When I'm done honing my lower limbs, I'll take on some missions. I won't sit around and wait anymore. Fong Ping was talking to himself. He was no longer trying to boost his own courage. He was thinking about the future. Lu Fengru's idea of training courage might not be useful to Fong Ping. However, Fong Ping felt a little sad when he saw these martial artists dying so horribly that even their corpses were used to train courage. Chapter 129. Fong Ping stayed in the morgue for more than an hour. Since someone had died, Fong Ping went out to help carry the corpse once. He did not show much of a reaction throughout the entire process. Little Zhao and the others looked at him strangely. This newbie was performing well. Had he seen blood before? At lunchtime, Zhao Xuemei couldn't hold it in any longer and vomited. At noon, Lu Fengru treated them to a bloody steak. "You'll get used to it." Lu Fengru did not mind. She said calmly, "In the catacombs, there's no way to start a fire. You can only eat dry rations or raw food. Of course, if you had an energy mine, you could also eat cooked food. Is a source mine something that you can own? Besides, that thing was precious. Rather than using it to cook, it was better to exchange it for medicinal pills. Cooking with it was too wasteful. In the future, you have to get used to this kind of situation." As he said that, he looked at Fong Ping and asked, "What do you think?" Martial artists aren't as glorious as ordinary people think. That's right. Martial artists enjoy more, but they die faster. Blood-chi martial artists are slightly better, but that's only for now. In the future, that might not be the case. Yes. Have you considered fighting in the life and death arena? Lu Fengru said, "The life and death arena can give you more fighting experience and let you experience what it's like to be on the brink of death. Of course, I won't force you. It's up to you." "Let me think about it. Teacher, I want to fight." Zhao Xuemei, who was vomiting, suddenly interrupted. Lu Fengru frowned and said softly, "You're too weak." "I'm not weak. I've honed 40 pieces of bones and broke through to become a martial artist with 169 calories vitality. I've learned combat techniques, and my pole standing is about to reach the firm stance. I've also mastered puncture kick. I think I'm not weak. At least, I'm not afraid of those people on the life and death arena today. There's no hurry now. You can take on some capture missions or participate in the regular competition. If you really want to experience life and death, you'll have to wait until you have enough experience. The current you is too immature." Unlike letting Fong Ping participate in the arena of life and death, Lu Fengru asked Zhao Xuemei to wait. "I can accept the quest now?" Sure. All right." Zhao Xuemei's face was full of joy. She even forgot about the nausea from before. Fong Ping looked at her strangely. What was this woman doing? Zhao Xuemei didn't look at him. After thinking for a moment, she gritted her teeth and started eating the bloody steak. Her face was frighteningly pale. After eating for a while, Zhao Xuemei's face suddenly turned pale, and she said, "I'm going to the washroom." With that, he left in a hurry. As soon as she left, Lu Fengru said, "Stop looking. It's normal to pursue strength." Her father was also a rank for martial artist. He had participated in the Tiananmen catacombs battle and died. Her family also had a company, which was not considered small. Now that her father had died, they were all keeping an eye on it. Without strength, it was only a matter of time before he lost it. It's still okay in martial arts universities now. With me as an instructor, it's still manageable. However, if he could not even reach rank for after graduating from university, how could he guard it? If she lost the company, would she be willing even if she was given some money? It's good for people to have some motivation. Unlike you, Fong Ping complained, "Instructor, I have my own motivation too. I want to become stronger. I want to be rich. I want my family to have a good life." You call this motivation? However, it's a good thing that you're afraid of death. If you don't want to die, then there's pressure. Lu Fengru teased. Fong Ping looked embarrassed. She said it as if he was not afraid of death. We'll continue watching the battles in the afternoon. This time, it's not to see blood, but to learn. Learn the ruthlessness of these casual martial artists. Learn their element of surprise. Learn their PUBG survival. After watching today, you can try participating in a regular match tomorrow. What do you think? Will people die in a regular match? It depends on luck. Injuries are more common, but deaths are rare. It's not like the life and death arena, where it would be abnormal if there were no deaths. I'll try. Fong Ping exhaled. He could not just avoid battles. The safety of a regular match was still very high. If he did not even dare to do this, then he would have practiced martial arts for nothing. That afternoon, Fong Ping and Zhao Xuemei watched the battles seriously, paying attention to the details. Fong Ping realized that these martial artists who participated in the life and death arena might not have high vitality and had not honed many bones, but their strength was not weak. Many times, they might be able to fight back even when they were beaten to a bloody pulp. It was different from Fong Ping's battles in school. These martial artists were more ruthless. Only then did Fong Ping realize that casual martial artists were also different. Tan Jinping and the others were pure vitality martial artists. But there were also casual martial artists who wanted to break through to a higher realm and pursue a higher path in martial arts. They did not have the resources of martial arts universities, the government's training, and they did not have the ability to start a company to make money. That was why these people set their sights on underground boxing markets. Rank 1 martial artists could get a minimum prize of 200,000 for participating in a life and death arena match. As for betting, it was entirely up to you. You could bet as much as you wanted. As for fake fights, if you were not afraid of death, you could try. Here, betting on the opponent to win might really end up with you being beaten to death. That was why martial artists would usually bet on themselves when they went on stage. If they died, it would be the end of it. If they won, it would be a big profit. After a life and death arena match, it was normal to earn 5 or 600,000. I can let old Wong fight. If I die, so be it. If I win, I'll make a big profit. Fong Ping muttered in his heart. Anyway, that guy seemed to be cheating, but he did not know that it was not as if someone had never participated in a life and death arena match before. Of course, after a few matches, the circle in Nanjiang was small, and someone was directly rejected. It was not like Magic City, where there were many martial artists. It did not matter if a few died. In Nanjiang, the death of a rank 3 martial artist would cause quite a stir. On the last day of October, Fong Ping and the others arrived at the courtyard from yesterday. This time, the boss of the place came out early to welcome them. Lu Fengru said straightforwardly, "Arrange a regular match for him. Peak rank 1 martial artists. This person's strength, 40 bones honed." The muscular man raised his eyebrows slightly. "The gap is a little big. There's a risk. If he dies here, he deserves it. All right, wait a moment. I'll arrange it immediately." The muscular man responded and looked at Fong Ping. Regular matches are relatively safe. Usually, people won't deliberately kill people. If you can hold back, I hope you can. Everyone doesn't participate in the life and death arena, but in the regular matches, because we don't want any real deaths. Fong Ping nodded slightly, but Lu Fengru said, don't listen to his nonsense. It's best if you don't kill him. Don't think about holding back. Otherwise, don't blame others if you die. Fong Ping nodded again, then asked with a smile, Boss, how do you calculate the prize money? 50,000 per match. So low. Yes, you can bet on yourself. You've honed 40 bones, and the opponent is a peak rank 1. The odds are at least 1 to 3. I can bet 1 million too? Sure. The boss said it without any pressure. What was 1 million to him? The entrance fee here was more than that per day. For martial artists, 1 million was really nothing. As for where Fong Ping's confidence came from, it was normal for martial arts university students to be confident. However, when it came to the arena, that might not be the case. Half an hour later, Fong Ping and the others arrived at another arena. It was not the same arena as the day before. Before going on stage, Lu Fengru thought for a while and said, you can surrender in the regular matches, but it's useless in the life and death arena, unless the opponent doesn't want to kill you. This is the difference. Do you understand? Yes. I bet 5 million on you. If I lose, you have to pay me back. The corner of Fong Ping's mouth twitched. Why? Zhao Xuemei said carefully, I bet 1 million on you too. Fong Ping's face was as black as iron. I only bet 1 million myself. You two are too careless. Winning and losing in the regular matches was more variable. Since it was not a life and death arena, it was normal to surrender here. It was hard to predict who would win or lose. Therefore, betting here was riskier. Now, let's invite the two combatants onto the arena. Peak rank 1 martial artist, blackface. The MC shouted in the arena. Soon, a dark-skinned middle-aged man walked onto the arena. Middle stage rank 1 martial artist, Saber King. Pfft. Zhao Xuemei, who was below the arena, choked. She was speechless. Saber King? Lu Fengru smiled faintly. You're just being clever. How can a Saber King be called a Saber King if he doesn't use a saber? But it might be useful. Some people are stupid and will actually believe in nicknames. It can't be. It will. So, when you meet an enemy in the future, don't just think about their nicknames. Luo Yichuan is good with a spear, but that doesn't mean he can't use other things. Lion Tang is good at punching and kicking, but that doesn't mean he's weak with weapons. He just specializes in them. If you think that Luo Yichuan is at your mercy without a spear, you won't even know how you died. Learn from him. This kid may be afraid of death, but he's not stupid. When it comes to risking his life, he won't hesitate. He can take advantage of others, but whoever takes advantage of him will be taking his life. Zhao Xuemei nodded thoughtfully. In the arena, Fong Ping smiled innocently. Uncle, this is my first time in the arena. Let's just spar. If I lose later, I'll shout that I admit defeat. Uncle, please be merciful. The dark-skinned middle-aged man frowned and said mildly, We'll see. Uncle, it's just a regular competition. I think, begin. The referee shouted before he could finish, not giving him a chance to talk nonsense. Fong Ping rambled on. As soon as the word begin left his mouth, he jumped up and kicked at the dark-skinned middle-aged man. This time it was not a single kick. Fong Ping's body was in the air, and his left and right legs kicked consecutively. The dark-skinned middle-aged man raised his hands to block, but his body was still being kicked backward. F***CK, counterattack, someone below the arena shouted. No one had expected the dark-skinned middle-aged man to be in a defensive position the moment the fight began, and he kept being kicked backward by the newbie. One was peak rank 1, and the other was middle stage rank 1. There was a difference in strength between the two. Many people thought that the dark-skinned middle-aged man would be able to beat the Saber King guy into kneeling and begging for mercy. However, things did not develop in the direction they had expected. Fong Ping kicked his opponent more than 10 times. The moment his body landed on the ground, Fong Ping did not retreat. Instead, he advanced, shouting, "Watch my leg!" His body clenched his fists, and he swung them toward his opponent's head. The dark-skinned, middle-aged man panted and hurriedly raised his hands to block. Fong Ping's fists smashed down, forcing his opponent to take 2 steps back. After putting some distance between them, he raised his leg and kicked again. The sound of collisions rang out continuously. Just as the dark-skinned, middle-aged man was preparing to counterattack while blocking, Fong Ping suddenly stopped kicking. His right leg straightened, the tip of his foot whipped out in the air, and with a bang, he kicked the dark-skinned, middle-aged man's shoulder. Crack! The dark-skinned, middle-aged man's shoulder caved in suddenly. The dark-skinned, middle-aged man's expression changed again and again. Suddenly, he gritted his teeth and said, "I admit defeat. Thanks for letting me win." Fong Ping quickly retracted his leg and took a few steps back. He chuckled and said, "Uncle, thanks for letting me win." Humph! The middle-aged man snorted softly, holding his right shoulder as he walked down the arena. He did not expect a middle-stage rank 1 martial artist to attack him the moment he stepped onto the arena. He also did not expect his opponent to injure his shoulder so quickly. He had completed honing the bones of his upper limbs. His bones were not so easily injured. If his opponent could injure his bones, it meant that his vitality was not weaker than his. His outburst might even be stronger than his. Otherwise, it would be difficult to break through his defense so easily. Looking at how young he was, he did not have to guess to know that he was most likely from a martial arts university. In the end, the possibility of him losing was also very high. It was not a life-or-death battle. If they continued fighting, even treatment would be a huge expense. Below the arena, many people were swearing. Lu Fengru, on the other hand, frowned and said, "It's useless." Fong Ping was much stronger than his opponent. Whether it was combat techniques, pole standing, or vitality, he was stronger than his opponent. The only thing he could not compare to was the progress of bone honing. When Fong Ping attacked first, his opponent did not even have time to retaliate. In less than a minute, Fong Ping had already won. In a battle like this, Fong Ping was not very useful. It's a pity that this kid is afraid of death. Otherwise, he could try the life-or-death battle. But there's no rush now. He hasn't reached peak rank 1 yet. For now, honing is still his priority. Lu Fengru shook her head slightly. Zhao Xuemei said enviously, "Fong Ping is much stronger than me. His vitality is probably 300 calories? I don't know. Maybe." Lu Fengru did not ask Fong Ping. But Fong Ping, who was thrice honed, might have a vitality of 280 calories even if it was not 300 calories. Fong Ping also thought that the regular competition was easier, but he was still very happy. The key was not winning the competition, but winning money. This time it was easier and simpler. It was his first time fighting, and the boxing market did not know his strength, so the odds were 1 to 3, which was normal. If there was a next time, the odds would not be like this. Fong Ping had bet 1 million on himself, and got 3 million with interest, plus another 50,000 for one battle. In a minute, he had earned 2.05 million. At this moment, Fong Ping's wealth had officially broken through 10 million for the first time. Last night, he had only cultivated as usual and stopped after spending about 50,000 wealth. Previously, his wealth was about 8 million. Now, with the 2 million, it had reached 10 million. After his wealth reached 10 million, Fong Ping realized that the system had been updated. Just like last time, it suddenly turned black, and soon, new data appeared. Wealth: 100,100,000 vitality, 267 calories, 289 calories mentality, 241 hertz, 249 hertz, bone honing, 40 bones, 90%, 166 bones, 30%. There was an additional bone honing option and progress. Fong Ping's eyes moved slightly. Could it be that he could directly increase the bone honing progress? Otherwise, it was not like he did not know the number of bones he had honed. He tried to increase the bone honing progress in his mind. Soon, the look in Fong Ping's eyes changed. At this moment, the bone honing data changed. Bone honing: 40 bones, 90% progress. 1 bone, 31%, 165 bones, 30%. It's really possible. Fong Ping was ecstatic. Could it be that he could directly complete the bone honing? Soon, Fong Ping's expression changed again. His wealth dropped by 10,000. 1% progress reduced his wealth by 10,000. This meant that if he wanted to hone one bone to 90%, he would need 600,000 wealth. At this moment, he still had 22 bones that had not been honed to 90% before he could reach peak rank 1. In other words, he would need at least 13. 2 million wealth. If he cultivated by himself and used vitality to nurture them, he would not need so much. At most, he would need about half of it, which would be about 6 million wealth. Does this mean that I can cheat, but I have to spend more wealth? Fong Ping was speechless. He had spent a lot of time accumulating tens of millions of wealth points. In the end, it was not even enough for him to reach peak rank 1. If that's the case, if I can cultivate by myself, I should try to save wealth points. But if it's really necessary, I can try to increase it directly. After thinking about it, Fong Ping dismissed the idea of increasing it directly. At least not now. His bone honing progress was already fast. If it was any faster, Lu Fengru would really slice him into pieces. Moreover, the consumption was too high, more than double. This is forcing me to earn money, big money. Fong Ping sighed. The system's cheat was cool, but wealth points were hard to earn. He was spending it faster and faster. Also, it might not be without limits. Just like vitality before, when vitality was increased, it was enough to increase it directly. After that, I have to nurture my bones and flesh. It's the same for my bones now. Increasing it directly probably has something to do with my body's endurance. At the very least, my body's strength has to keep up. It doesn't take a brain to guess that the system is not so kind as to let me directly increase to peak rank 3 in one night. Fong Ping criticized in his heart for a while. He felt that he was right. Otherwise, if he increased the bones of his 4 limbs and torso to 90%, did it not mean that he would immediately reach peak rank 3? It was more likely that there were other limitations. I won't try it now. I'll think about it after a while. Also, can I increase it to 100%? As he thought about this, Fong Ping had already seen Lu Fengru and the others. Chapter 130. Out of the boxing market, Lu Fengru, who was driving, said directly, "My bet has nothing to do with you. Don't get any ideas about your instructor. His life isn't easy either." Fong Ping laughed dryly. "How could I? I think that's what you mean. I really didn't." Fong Ping hurriedly denied it. He turned to look at Zhao Xiumei and said, "Junior sister, you're in university now. You don't need much money. Do you want me to save it for you?" Zhao Xiumei's expression changed. After a while, she shook her head and said, "No, thank you. Also, can you stop calling me junior sister?" Zhao Xiumei was not used to it. Fong Ping had not been this enthusiastic before. Lu Fengru teased him. "Fong Ping, why don't you pursue Xiumei? If you succeed, won't her money be yours too?" Teacher, even though Zhao Xiumei was a tomboy, she still felt awkward. Fong Ping chuckled. "I'm not in the mood for now. When I'm thinking about my other half, I can consider the instructor's suggestion." Fong Ping. Zhao Xiumei glared at him. Fong Ping smiled and stopped joking. He changed the topic. "Instructor, are we going back to school now?" "Yes, you are still new students. It is enough for you to come out and see the world. There is no need to stay outside for long." It would be better for Fong Ping and the others to study in school. This time, Lu Fengru did her duty as a mentor and brought the two of them out to see the world because the special training class would have more training content. If you want to come here next time, you can come here directly. However, this place is just the beginning of your training. If he really reached the 2nd or 3rd rank, there was no need for him to come here again. Fighting to the death with martial artists for the sake of money is not our ultimate goal. Whether it's in business, politics, or the military, a martial artist's ultimate goal is to become stronger, to go further, and to eliminate the hidden dangers in the catacombs. Fong Ping nodded, indicating that he understood. Lu Fengru stopped nagging and drove toward the school. Fong Ping got out of the car early at the school gates. Outside MCMAU, an old commercial building, Fong Ping strolled into the lobby. Distance Company was on the 6th floor of the building. They had rented half of the floor as an office. Ever since he had rented the house and found Li Qingze, Fong Ping had never visited again. In total, including the $8 million he had invested previously, Fong Ping had invested close to $10 million. Although he felt that Li Qingze wouldn't dare to betray him, he couldn't just ignore him for a long period of time. That would be instigating his subordinates to betray him. After entering the elevator, they soon arrived at the 6th floor. As soon as the elevator came out, there was a distance company on the left and a small loan company on the right. The distance company side was relatively quiet, while the right side was noisy. There was no front desk at Distance Limited. On the one hand, the company was still small. On the other hand, it was to save money. Distance Ltd. did not have too much business for people to handle. Fong Ping strolled to the door. Without knocking, he pushed the door open and entered the office. As soon as he entered the door, an employee noticed him and hurriedly asked, "Hello, who are you looking for? Is Manager Li Qingze here?" "In the innermost office." "Thank you." Fong Ping thanked them and walked straight in. No one stopped him. The company's management was relatively lax. Fong Ping furrowed his brow slightly. After some thought, he realized that it was normal. There were not many employees left. The couriers were not here. The employees here were in charge of the website's operations and business development. Fong Ping glanced at them. There were only about 30 of them. Such a small company was established not long ago, so it was understandable that the management was lax. CEO Zhang, I've already said that the company is not mine. Our boss is someone else. I know that joining the alliance is beneficial to us, but I'm just an employee. I can't make decisions for the boss. Besides, the conditions you've set are too harsh. I'll pass the message on. Don't worry. Knock, knock, knock. All right, I'll hang up first. I still have some business to take care of. I'll call you back when the boss notifies me. Come in. Li Qingze hung up the phone and responded. When Fong Ping pushed the door open and entered, Li Qingze was a little surprised. He hurriedly stood up and said, "Mr. Fong, why are you here?" "I just came out to take care of something. I passed by." Fong Ping smiled and looked around. Li Qingze's office was not big and very simple. It was much worse than the Magic Marshall Hotel. Without further ado, Fong Ping said, "Someone asked us to join the alliance just now." "Sort of," Li Qingze explained. "Since you transferred $8 million into the account, in addition to the expansion of food and beverage delivery, the express delivery points have also expanded a lot. At present, there are 20 express delivery points in the university town. In the university town, if there were about 40 to 50 distribution points, it would be enough to cover the whole area. Currently, there were a few medium-sized express delivery companies that did not have much business in the university town. I hope we can represent their business in the university town." As he spoke, Li Qingze hesitated for a moment before saying, "Mr. Fong, actually, I don't think it's impossible to act as an agent. We can use their reputation to take on business. Of course, this is not the main point. The key is to use their channels. Our current channels are only limited to the university city. There were no distribution points, storage centers, freight stations, or even trucks in the country. In this case, if we don't act as an agent for a courier company's regional business, there's no way we can continue to develop it. We can only wait for our own expansion." Express delivery was different from food and beverage delivery. Express delivery came from all over the country, while food and beverage came from the local area. Therefore, food delivery companies can gradually expand, one by one. Express delivery companies can't. Relatively speaking, the establishment of channels for food delivery companies was much simpler. It could also be done separately. However, express delivery companies really could not do it. You did not have a nationwide channel. Unless the locals in the university town sent something to the locals, you would not be able to receive business at all. Intracity logistics was still not feasible now, and it was not very popular. Express delivery companies now almost all had a customer-to-customer model. Fong Ping pondered for a moment before saying, How about using our Distance's name as an agent for their local business? Distance will first do regional distribution, mainly e-commerce. At the moment, this kind of express delivery accounts for a smaller proportion of their goods. Also, although e-commerce is not big, delivery is troublesome. There are many customers, and the profits are not as good as bulk logistics. If we use Distance's name to act as an agent for e-commerce, maybe we can act as an agent for a few more express delivery companies. Li Qingze immediately said, "What you mean is, we want to be the regional e-commerce express delivery agent for the university town now." Yes, is it feasible? Li Qingze thought for a moment and said hesitantly, "But now, it's not like other express delivery companies don't have agents in the university town. Our prices are more favorable, and our services are more professional. At this time, doing business is mainly about providing services. If the service is bad, no matter how well you do in other areas, it's useless if your reputation is not up. I'm also clear about the current express delivery industry. Most of them are franchisees. These franchisees' distribution points, to put it bluntly, don't care if your company's reputation is good or not. Anyway, if there's something, just deliver it. Don't even think about service. If we join your company's reputation is bad. If we change our brand, I'll join the next company. It'll be the same, still express delivery. We're different. We want to do our own brand, and we definitely won't be fooling around. This is also our strength. It's also a weakness," Li Qingze reminded him. The reason why express delivery companies want others to join them is because the joining fee is only a little. They also want to expand their scale and influence. We're using our own brand, and we're opening up our own market. I'm sure everyone has considered this point. We'll give it a try. There's not just one express delivery company. I don't believe that every company has to use their brand. If it really doesn't work, we can also pay the agency fee and joining fee, but we won't use their brand. I think there will definitely be people who will agree," Fang Ping said with certainty. Li Qingze nodded and had no choice but to say, "Big companies might not be able to, but there should be some small and medium-sized companies who will agree. But if that's the case, even if we take on the business in the early stages, I'm afraid there won't be much profit. That's not important. Once the brand is established, that's money." As he said that, Fang Ping said, "How's the food and beverage delivery going?" "Not bad, but there are already people who are starting to follow the trend." Li Qingze's expression was slightly ugly as he said, "That's not difficult. The initial cost isn't too high either. Currently, in the eastern part of the university city, there are already schools that have the shadow of other food and beverage platforms. Publicity, promotion, service, professionalism." Fang Ping said these few words and reminded, "We'll do the service first and give people the impression that we're professional. The clothing has to be new and uniform. Don't dress up in a mess. One look, and you'll know you're not reliable. Distance's logo has to be obvious and efficient. The commission for riders can be suitably higher than other companies. Also, the platform has to be simple and clear. I've also seen the food and beverage platform online. It's more complicated. All kinds of food and beverages have to be separated and divided into separate areas. Also, convenience. We'll support cash on delivery and online payment. There have to be many payment methods. Try to include all the current payment methods. One more thing. Now, we can prepare for the mobile platform. Mobile? Simply put, it's mobile. Nowadays, the thing that everyone carries with them the most is none other than their mobile phones. Foreign countries have already entered the era of 3G smartphones. Here, it'll be the same soon. Once personal computers are replaced by mobile phones, then mobile services will become the mainstream. We still have time to prepare now. 3G smartphones have just appeared not long ago. We have to be ready to switch at any time. Seamlessly connect to the phone at the first moment and start the business. What I'm saying is not limited to food and beverage, but also express delivery. Do you understand what I mean? Express delivery services nowadays are very troublesome. In the future, when we place an order on the phone, we'll go to the door to pick up the delivery. We'll create our own express delivery client and be ahead of others. After some time, we'll be famous and the market will open up," Fang Ping said and continued, "I don't think we'll be able to earn money so soon. The time before is used for preparation and preparation. When 3G becomes mainstream, we'll be prepared and be ahead of others. When that time comes, we won't have to worry about not earning money. After listening for a while, Li Qingzi could not help but ask, Mr. Fong, did you consider all of this yourself? Fong Ping was only a freshman, but he felt like he was more familiar with the business than he was. He also knew some things like the back of his hand and was very forward-looking. Of course, he was also very bold. At this time, 3G had just been launched overseas. The domestic 3G standard had just been passed and had not been officially launched. Fong Ping laughed. I like to read the news and think about it when I'm free. If we develop step by step, we won't be able to keep up. If we want to do well now, we can only find new ways. It'll be great if we succeed, but it's not a pity if we don't. Li Qingzi was still very impressed. After a while, he said hesitantly, Mr. Fong, the company now. Out of money? That's not it. The 8 million you gave us last time won't be used up so quickly. Li Qingzi shook his head and explained, because you haven't shown up, I've been the one in charge. Previously, when we announced that our company was founded by MCMEU martial artist students, everyone was a little afraid and didn't do anything else. However, you haven't shown up, and we've been expanding continuously. Now some companies can't sit still. There are many other express delivery companies operating in the university city, including some fast food restaurants near the school. They're causing trouble? It's not really causing trouble. It's just a demonstration and a warning. A warning? Yes. Recently, there have been reports from riders that some schools won't let our people up the stairs. Before, it was fine, and our people were very law-abiding. Now, they're not letting us in. And the schools that are not letting us in have other companies that have opened up business. I'm guessing that they're the ones causing trouble. Fong Ping thought for a moment and said, let's solve it in a civilized way first. It's best if we can talk things through and have a good relationship. If it doesn't work, call me again. When the time comes, I'll see how it goes. Okay. Fong Ping gave a few reminders and did not stay any longer. He quickly left the company. Seeing that his wealth was about to drop below 10 million, Fong Ping sighed. He cannot play without money. Should he find other ways to earn money? Even if he could start an express delivery company and earn money, it would not be something that could be done overnight. This was Fong Ping's preparation for the future. At this stage, he still had to rely on other methods. With the worry of earning money, Fong Ping returned to school. When he reached the dormitory building, Fong Ping met many new students downstairs, like the little fatty he met at the start of the semester. Hearing these new students discussing where to play and eat during the weekend, Fong Ping muttered, I wonder if I can collect protection fees from new students? MCMEU's new students were rich. A few 100,000 was peanuts. If he collected 100,000 from one person, it would be 100 million from 1,000 people. Collecting protection fees is also a way, provided that the school doesn't hack me to death. At the same time, Fong Yuan was dumbfounded. Looking at the little girl in front of her, she felt terrible. Big sis, can you accept me into the club? I'll pay the membership fee. The little girl was younger than Fong Yuan. She was thin and weak, and her face was full of anticipation. If I join the Yuan Ping Club, I'll be obedient. I'll do whatever Big Sis tells me to do. Even if it's a group fight. I can't beat them, but I can give Big Sis a boost. The little girl clenched her fists, her face still slightly flushed. Fong Yuan's face had turned green. After a while, she said with a bitter face, Little girl, are you misunderstanding something? This isn't a gangster club. Fong Yuan roared in her heart. This is the prototype of a chamber of commerce. Understand? Do you understand? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.